Good evening and welcome to the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series Duels and Daytona 250. We're just rounding out practice here at the Daytona International Speedway. So before we get to qualifying, here's how things are going to work out. We're going to have 5 minutes of qualifying. We have about 53 drivers vying for 42 open spots. The top two in qualifying will advance to the feature, so the main Daytona 250. Third and beyond will have to battle it out in the two duels, where the top 20 in each duel will advance to the feature, and anyone who finishes 21st and behind are going home. They'll have to wait until next week to race in SRL, but practice is just ending right now. So currently your top three is Brian Lorenzo, Bladen Edwards, and Xander Short leading practice right now. But we got a lot of racing ahead of us. So everyone's going to try to qualify, try to nab the top two spots. But as we wait for everyone to get their warm-up laps completed, we can run a commercial from the sponsor of the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series.
Are you looking for something to make you look good out in front of your competitors? Well, look no further than Snowman Studios. SMS specializes in iRacing designs just for you. From NASCAR to IMSA to late models, SMS can make you a personalized paint. Snowman Studios, making you look good out front.
Okay, now that is out of the way, I have the top three graphic up on top. It doesn't really matter right now because no one has set a lap yet, so Baker and Marabella are not locked in just yet. But while all of this is going on, why don't we take a look at the weather report? It is currently 84 degrees outside here in Daytona Beach, Florida, with winds going southwest at 3 miles per hour, and the forecast is going to be mostly cloudy for today. Not going to have too much of an effect on the handling of these cars, but you never know what can happen with these types of races. So as we wait for everyone to get up to speed, we have, if I'm not mistaken, 53 entrants in this event, all battling for a spot in the coveted Daytona 250. As we have our camera set on, I believe this is Jonathan T. Baker right here. Yep. But so it looks like first time on the board right now is Keelan Belsha and Rocky Boyd. But that is bound to change as people are now starting to get to their flying laps. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of plate racing today. But currently top of the board right now is Rocky Boyd. Who is currently in pit lane, actually. There we go. That was a little strange. Wasn't expecting someone to be in pit lane. To the top of the board right now is Hector Collazo in the number 42. So we have 2 minutes left in qualifying. People trying to get every last second out as Trevor Huff jumps to the top of the board in the number 54. Good showing from him. And Amir Bascombe is in the second position right now. And Amir Bascombe will have to race as Ollie Reeves takes the top spot in or not the top spot, the second spot in qualifying. Remember, it is top two advance. So currently the top two is Trevor Huff and Ollie Reeves. As let's see if we can get a look at anyone. Looking at Riley Garcia right now. As yeah, my software's having a lot of fun trying to handle 53 people trying to do qualifying laps at once. But Xander Short jumps to the top of the board with a 49.756, and Gavin Austin jumps to second place. Those two currently are locked in. And as I say that, Matt Rucci jumps to the top of the boards. So it is currently Matt Rucci and Xander Short. See, is anyone still on the track right now? As we look at Austin Doran right now, I believe he is. I don't know what. Looks like he got 13th place as Riley Marabello and Sean Rowe both take the top two spots with about 30 seconds left. So assuming these results hold, they will be the two locked into the Daytona 250, the main event here tonight. And qualifying has ended. So it looks like your top two locked into the Daytona 250 is the number 16 of Riley Marabello and the number 99 of Sean Rowe. But now for Duel 1 of the this is season 4 of the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. We'll go through your starting lineup real quick. So let me get a better camera angle. That's a pretty garbage one. Okay. Okay. Okay, that actually doesn't really help me at all. Hide. Results. Okay, so your starters for this duel is going to be Matt Rucci and Sam Brochu, followed by Gavin Austin and Peyton Howell, then Nicholas Martinez Jr. and Barrett Bohemus. Then the number 18 of Keelan Belsha and the number 42 of Hector Collazo. Then Matthew Miles and Bladen Edwards in the top 10 for this duel. Next, I know it says unofficial results. That doesn't mean anything. It just wouldn't display with if I try to do the normal grid graphic. Anyways. Starting in 11th is the number 11 of Kenny Real, and next to him is the number 34 of Troy Holman, and behind them is the number 40 of Riley Garcia and the 76 of Kayla McKinney. Number 45 of Andretti Robinson starts in 15th, and on his outside is the 31 of Michael D. Kenner. In 17th is the 39 of Chase Crow, and on his outside is Trevor Haley, followed by James Bomar and Jonathan T. Baker. And then the last group of cars in this duel, 21st through 27th, is going to be the number 6 of Zachary Cato, followed by the 15 of Daniel Rivera. And then in 23rd is the number 2 of Van Drummond, followed by the number 7 of Braden Hill. In 25th is the 46 of Cole Denton. And next to him is going to be the 57 of Michael Deitch. And then in 27th, last in this duel right now, is the number 59 of Frederick Seagraves Jr. So now I can get that out of the way. And it's going to show... It's going to show the... It's going to show... There we go. Okay, it just took a little bit. So it looks like we'll have one extra lap of pacing around here for duel number 1 to get everyone all formed up and ready to go. But look, so the same format will apply for duel number 2, so that the top 20 in duels 1 and 2 will make it into the feature. And then the feature format, it's 100 laps, 70% fuel capacity, and at halfway we will have a caution to gather the field up again, and there'll be points assigned. I almost forgot to mention that. Yes, there will be points assigned to the I believe the top 10 of the people at halfway, so we can have people prioritizing getting points mid race instead of waiting until the last second and causing a billion green white checkers, which no one really likes. But we are approaching going green one more time around here at the Daytona International Speedway for 30 laps. Yep, each duel will be 30 laps here, and I don't know if that's enough to necessitate a pit stop. I think this is just going to be all out battle until the end, but I might be wrong. I haven't driven this combo in a few months. But Matt Rucci looking to start off his season with a bang, starting on pole in his duel. All he has to do is finish in the top 20, but like I said in the clash a couple weeks ago, Daytona giveth and Daytona taketh away. So anything can happen at these plate tracks. Close, tight racing. Hopefully it'll be a lot more interesting than the real life Talladega race, because that was a total snooze fest. But people here know how to make the racing interesting on the plate tracks. So coming through turns 3 and 4 to take the green flag. Base car lights are off. That means it's going to dive into pit lane this time by. Base cars in, and we're waiting for the green flag to kick off the SRL Snowman Studios Designs Cup Series, and here we go. Green flag is out. Good start for both Matt Rucci and Nicholas Martinez Jr. as both of them get about an equal start, but Martinez getting a good push right now as he is getting pushed to the lead right now. That's gonna trip me up. Sam Brotru is running an Ally number 48, which is very similar to Nicholas Martinez's number 48. Anyways, that is Sam Brotru in the 48. I don't know why it's showing up as a 48 for me, but he's leading the outside line, getting pushed by Peyton Howell and Barrett Pohemus. But here comes the number 78 of Matt Rucci on the inside, taking the shortest way around the track. But it looks like advantage to Sam Brotru right now. The 52 of Payne Howell wasn't able to clear the 78, so he'll have to stick with the 98 of Sam Brotru on the high side. But a big run on the inside allows the 78 of Rucci to clear up top. Brotru hangs the 78 out to dry. I think he nabbed the wall a little bit doing that, and now the 78 of Rucci's in the sucker hole right now. He's going to be dropping back like a rock with no one to help him in the middle. Dives to the inside, and now all the way up top all the way up front is the number 02 of Gavin Austin. Getting pushed by the actual 48 of Nicholas Martinez Jr. I don't know why Sam Brotru's car is showing up as the 48 for me, but it's whatever. And to give you an insight into how fast these cars are going, this track is 2.5 miles long, and these drivers are completing about 46-second lap time, so they are absolutely flying as Sam Brotru goes to the front on that outside line. Looks like that outside line is the place to be right now, as it's getting crazy runs down the front straight, and we have a big crash in the back. Many cars around. I don't know who it was, but I saw the 34 in there, and they're still wrecking. So let's get a replay on that really quick to see what exactly happened. So looking at it right now, we're looking at the 34 of Troy Holman. Looks like he washes up into the 2 of Van Drummond. That causes a big stack up as people get shuffled down towards the bottom. And yeah, that collected the 6 of Zachary Cato, and then Van Drummond gets a big piece of it. That's the I don't know who that is in that number 88, but Zachary Cato getting a big piece of it. The 26, that 26 car, I can't exactly tell who that is at this current moment, but it looks like they got a big piece of it as well. As you saw, the 34 of Troy Holman eat the front stretch wall. The 26 is Bladen Edwards. Sorry for the little flub right there. Still getting used to all these newer drivers here. But as long as they race more, I will get more acquainted with them, and I'll be able to remember their paint schemes and numbers. But it looks like everyone is going down pit lane right now to top off their fuel tanks, make sure that they can finish this race, and repair any damage that they may have gotten. And it looks like Sam Brochu in the number 98 is going to be the first car off of pit road, followed by the So Hector Colazzo's league number is 42, but his car number shows 77. Looks like Barrett Pohemus might have beaten Hector Colazzo out of pit road. So your top 5 looks like it's going to be Sam Brochu, Barrett Pohemus, Hector Colazzo, Peyton Howell, and Gavin Austin. Your top 5 right now. So first caution, I guess, of the season, really, since the Clash isn't really a points-paying thing. Well, neither is. I don't think the Duels pay any points. But yeah, first caution of this whole event on lap 4 of Duel 1. So it looks like anyone who was involved is just taking their time in pit lane, getting any damage repaired. That's a lot of front end damage for Van Drummond. Not the way he wanted to start off his SRL season, as that right front has a lot of toe knocked out of it. I think Van Drummond is probably gonna get as much damage as he can fixed and try to ride around and maybe squeeze out a top 20 if they continue to wreck. But Van Drummond, I bet he's not one happy customer right now. With that number 34 of Troy Holman. But we're bunching them all back up. Pace car lights are out, so that means we are going green flag next time by. Sam Brochu and Barrett Pohemus choose the outside as Peyton Howell chooses the inside. So it looks like they're going to try to control the lanes. I believe they're on the same team, four wide motorsports. So it looks like they're going to try to control the lanes and make it beneficial for them. But people in SRL, it gets aggressive here on these play tracks. So that might work, it might not work. We might see some 3 and 4 wide action here, but you never know at Daytona, as we have 25 laps to go here in duel number 1. As looks like Van Drummond has made his way back onto track. That car is not handling well at all, I can tell. And I think he's just gonna try to salvage a 20th or better finish. Yeah, he only has to finish ahead of 7 other cars to get 20th place. But when your car is damaged like that, especially in the aerodynamics department, it can sometimes not be the easiest task to do so. So Sam Brochu is going to be the control car on this restart. He gets to decide when the field goes in the restart zone. He's going to have a lot of help from his friend Barrett Pohemus. But the field starts to really bunch up as we get going to the first restart of tonight's event, pace cars, and we are waiting for the green flag into the Geico restart zone. And Sam Brochu steps on it. Looks like about an equal start for both lines, but Sam Brochu, being the control car, is able to get just a slightly better start. But pretty much almost dead even entering turn 1. That inside line has a lot more cars working with it. And I don't think the 52 is clear just yet. Getting a heck of a push from, that's the 11 of Kenny Real, as he was clear. And he's able to shoot up to the high side. So Kenny Real jumps to the bottom right now in that number 11 Jordan's car. But it looks like, yeah, he's able to get to the inside of Sam Brochu, and Payne Howell can dive low if he wants to. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. So Kenny Real leading the bottom and Payne Howell leading the top, as there's a lot of squiggling up top. Cars getting pushed out of the corners and trying to handle the high speeds. It may look like an easy thing to do if you're watching, but when you're driving and you've got a bunch of people hungry for a shot in the big show, or a spot in the big show, it gets very nerve-wracking, as I need to change the camera angle ASAP. That is a disastrous camera angle, as I just went from one bad camera angle to another. Anyways, Payne Howell able to clear on the bottom. Will he do it? He's getting a lot of help from Sam Brochu, but Kenny Real just got a massive shove in the center of the corner from Matt Rucci. Looks like, I believe that's a 15 of Daniel Rivera, is trying to start something on the outside line, or try to drop to the back. But right now it is Payne Howell in the lead, leading that outside line, as they're about dead even in the center of the corner between Payne Howell and Kenny Real, as they're 3 wide in the back. I don't know how well that's going to work. They need to catch the pack, and this pack that's all 2 wide is starting to gap those cars behind. So they need to work together a plan, and quick. But Kenny Real and Matt Rucci, they try to coordinate something to the high side, but Matt Rucci gets out there first and kind of leaves Kenny Real in an undesirable spot. Now, that's going to check up the inside line a lot, and now Payne Howell is going to be pushing Matt Rucci to the lead. That move from Matt Rucci checked up the inside line a lot, and it's going to take a little bit for it to gain back momentum. But I tell you what, that 35 of Michael Kenner is pushing the heck out of the 11, and got him right back up side by side with the leaders, with help from Andretti Robinson as well. So that inside line is starting to form again, but it is not as numerically advantageous as that outside line, as they come flying out of turn 4 and down the front stretch. And it's going to be Matt Rucci getting moved on by Payne Howell. Rucci left absolutely hung out to dry with no help whatsoever. He's going to be dropping to the back of this front pack as the field starts to filter out the lines. And Payne Howell to the lead with Sam Brochu right behind him. Big shot from Kenny Real into Barrett Bohemus, causes a little bit of a stack up on the inside line, but looks like nothing too major, as the outside line is about 3 cars clear. So the 42 of Collazo can jump down if he wants to, but I think that he's thinking that outside line has a lot of motion, and as long as he stays up there and doesn't get in any accidents, he's got his ticket into the big show. But inside line kind of fell apart, as everyone wants to ride up top and kind of run out these laps. Barrett Bohemus stuck with Kenny Real trying to start something on the bottom, but when you got 2 cars on the bottom, you got about 10 cars on the top. That top side is going to win out every time. So it looks like people are just going to be riding around, considering that the packs have separated just a little bit. They're going to be riding around to try and safeguard their spot without causing any issues. As there's a second little pack back there battling to try to catch up. But, yep, looks like it's going to be a pretty big Dale line, as Kenny Real is pushing the heck out of Barrett Bohemus. Essentially tandem drafting, as that's Eric, that's Daniel Rivera. I apologize. Going around, looks like he saved it. No caution, but a terrible stroke of luck for Daniel Rivera as he got spun coming out of turns 3 and 4. As now the inside line is forming up with Barrett Bohemus, Kenny Reel, Michael D. Kenner, and Jonathan T. Baker forming the inside line. And now Barrett Bohemus jumps to the front. So he's going to be leading the charge with Kenny Reel in tow. The 35 of Kenner tried to clear Howell, but was not able to get up top. And now that inside line is going to be really backed up. And more of the usual. Collazo jumps to the bottom to lead the charge, but it's going to be a while before he gets hooked up with the 35 of Kenner, especially when he's blinking like that. Bohemus running in the middle, and Kenny Reel almost put himself in the wall trying to catch up, and that checked up the outside line a lot. Here comes Hector Collazo and Michael Kenner with a big head of steam, 3 wide as the 12 of Trevor Haley gets into, I believe that was Cole Denton, near the back of this big main pack as Michael D. Kenner jumps to the point as we approach halfway in this race. As my mistake, I believe that was James Bomar in the number 20 that got put in the wall, but looks like he's able to hang on to the draft, so nothing of consequence too much right now. As let's see, the last car in right now is the number 18 of Keelan Belsha, who's currently not part of the pack. As Matthew Miles is the last car in the pack. So this is 1st through 18th, all jumbled up together. And then all the way in the back, you see the number 7 of Braden Hill just exiting the corner as I thought a car blinked out on the bottom, but I might be mistaken. A bad push from Kenny Reel into Bohemus. And only one car got significant damage in that, which was which I believe was the 77 or the 42, I apologize, of Hector Collazo. So let's go to standby real quick so we can get a replay of what just happened. So looking at this, yeah, Kenny Reel just wasn't square with Barrett Bohemus. And, I mean, that was a great save by Bohemus, but nothing Hector Collazo could do. Good job by everyone in the field to not make this a much bigger accident than it needed to be. But that left rear suspension of Collazo seems to be absolutely shattered right now. And I think it would be pretty hard for him to continue, but I might be mistaken, as that car is still driving. So he might have gotten lucky and only sustained like rear end damage. If that is the case, he better be thanking his lucky stars that happened. But second caution on lap number 15. So we got one on lap 3 or 4, and then one at almost the exact halfway point as Barrett Bohemus jumps into pit lane here. Looks like he's going to try to see if he got any damage from that. As Van Drummond and Michael Deach also jump into pit lane. So it looks like anyone who might have gotten damage in the past couple of cautions is jumping in to get it repaired, but everyone else is staying out since they're good on fuel. So your top 10 right now is Michael D. Kenner, Jonathan T. Baker, Kenny Reel, Peyton Howell, Riley Garcia, Sam Brochu, Gavin Austin, Nicholas Martinez Jr., Matt Ritchie, and Chase Crawl. Last driver in the big show right now is the number 6 of Zachary Cato, currently running in 20th place. First car out of it is the number 59 of Frederick Seagraves Jr. So looks like nothing too bad except for cars that have a lot of damage, like Hector Collazo and Van Drummond. I will be right back in just a second. Hold on for 1 second. I apologize for the interruption, but we are going to 1 to green. Here, as the drivers choose their preferred lines, looks like Michael D. Kenner is going to be choosing the outside line, with Jonathan T. Baker choosing the inside. So, not seeing as much teamwork as we did in the Clash, but that's most likely due to teams being separated by Duel, since it's decided by qualifying position. So we'll probably see a lot more teamwork in the 100 lap main event. But it is going to be Michael D. Kenner as the control car here, and he's going to be leading the field to a 12 to go restart when the pace car dives into pit lane as we head down the backstretch. But if I was one of these drivers, I'd personally want to be right around that cutoff point or somewhere in the middle, but out of danger's way. That'd be the most comfortable position, because if you're in the back, you risk losing the draft. If something happens, you have to check up. You could lose the draft, and it's the worst feeling to be one spot out. But if you're up front, everyone's trying to race for their lives, and you can get up, and you can go from first to 21st and out of the show in just a second. So it's a gamble wherever you choose to be, but I'd personally want to be near the cutoff point. I'd say 15th is probably where I would want to be. 15th, running the bottom to just secure a back of the pack start in the 100. It's a long feature race, but pace car is in, and it's gonna be Michael Kenner controlling the restart. He'll decide who goes right when we go into the restart zone, and good start by Michael Kenner. Baker seems to be caught sleeping a little bit on the inside. Kenny Reel might be able to clear down to the bottom, and looks like both Kenner and Kenny Reel will clear down to the bottom. Peyton Howell might be able to clear down to the bottom, and he does as well. So great start for the outside line. I don't think Jonathan T. Baker was expecting Kenner to go at that time, as that is I believe that is the 40. Not the 40. That is the 02 of Gavin Austin leading the outside line. So it looks like that's gonna have a big head of steam soon, because it has about 10 cars running up top. The bottom line has more cars, but they're more fanned out. That outside line is very tightly packed together. So I think that if you wanna start making moves, that outside line is the place to go. But they're not making a lot of ground on this top 4 breakaway. That might change once they get down the back straight. But yeah, it looks like people are trying to jump to the bottom from the outside and abandoning all of that momentum up top, as it is a race to the bottom right now, as everyone's trying to funnel to the bottom. But it looks like Nicholas Martinez Jr. is going to be the first car to lead the outside line, getting pushed by, I believe that is Chase Crawl. It says 88 on his car, but in the league he's listed as number 39. And they'll jump down to the bottom too, as is a single file wrapping that yellow line right now, as we have 11 to go here, or actually 10 to go, my mistake. So 10 to go here at Daytona, with Michael D. Kenner leading the way, and the fastest lap of the race was just set by the number 40 of Riley Garcia. So kudos to him. Thank you for setting the fastest lap of the duel. But right now, not much happening, as I think everyone is just hedging their bets, running single file, trying not to cause too much of an issue, as there's about a 10-car gap. There's about an 11-car pack, starting with Michael Kenner and ending with Nicholas Martinez Jr. And then the first car in the second group of cars is Bladen Edwards in the 26, getting pushed by Cole Denton, and bringing along with him Matthew Miles and Braden Hill. So that is 12th through 15th right now. And then currently the last car in right now is Trevor Haley in that number 12, currently in 20th, and he's going to have to hold off 3 very hungry cars right behind him. And Keelan Belsha, Zachary Cato, and Caleb McKinney. After that, it is a very long ways back to Troy Holman. But pretty orderly racing so far. As I think in the back I thought I might have saw some side-by-side action, as Chase Carl looking to make a move on Cole Dent around the outside, slots back into line. As looks like Chase Carl is really the only person interested in trying to get a second line working. The 12 of Trevor Haley jumps out, but he's got a long ways between him and the 39 of Krall. So it's going to be a while unless someone directly behind Chase Krall or directly in front of him jumps out. But that might have been a mistake by Chase Krall to jump out a second time, as he's going to side draft the 7 of Braden Hill. And just he's gonna fall back many more spots as we go back to the leaders. And still single file racing, as Chase Krall stuck on the outside. Now he's got some help from Zachary Cato, that damaged number 6 car, and I was about to say Trevor Haley, but it looks like he was not interested in running. And just from one move to go from the outside at about 10th place has relegated Chase Krall all the way back to the final spot before the cutoff point in this duel with 7 laps to go. So everyone is fighting for their lives right now. Or not, I wouldn't say everyone's really fighting for their lives, because they're just running single file. If they were fighting for their lives, it'd be 2-3 wide. But it seems like the real race is going to be the race for the cutoff, which is currently between Chase Krall, Trevor Haley, and Zachary Cato. Anyone who finishes behind currently Chase Krall will not make the Daytona 250. As this pack got separated from the lead pack, not much happening, and it looks like they're not able to catch up. As let's see Braden Hill's last lap. It looks like they're about a tenth slower than the lead pack, even with Frederick Seagraves pushing the 7 to the best of his ability. But everyone behind Zachary Cato right now, who's currently last of this main group of cars, is begging and pleading for a wreck to happen on the last lap and to get just enough spots to get into the top 20. But it seems like that's not really going to happen right now, knock on wood, as we have 4 laps to go. And it is just single file all the way. No one really needing to make a pass. No one really in this top 20 needing to make a pass, except for Trevor Haley and Zachary Cato, as they have to desperately find a way around Chase Krall, as that is Gavin Austin in the number 02 jumping up top as Chase Krall moves to the high side. More cars jumping up top. That's Sam Brochu and number 98. So now we're having some two-wide racing. Looks like they got bored of running single file. So now Sam Brochu is getting a big push on the outside from Matt Rucci in that number 78. Will anyone jump up high to block? Looks like Martinez jumps up high to join the train. And yes, Peyton Howell will jump up to cut off that outside line. Will they try to go around him, or will they push him? Looks like they're going to push him. Big stack up as Michael Kenner tries a late block. That was not able to work. Caused a big stack up on the inside line. And now Peyton Howell jumps to the lead. And Nicholas Martinez Jr. hanging in all the way out, all the way up top in the third lane as Peyton Howell leads the race from the outside line with a lot of help from Sam Brochu. And that outside line looks pretty strong, as that's all it takes. You just have to have numerical advantage up top, and you can make that outside line work very well. Coming to 2 laps to go here. And if I was Sam Brochu, I would just stay behind the 52. No point in trying to pass him. The feature event is 100 laps. You got a lot of racing, then no point in trying to do any crazy moves to try to win a duel. But Peyton Howell in that number 52 is sitting very pretty right now, but definitely mirror driving to try to keep those cars behind him. But his goal is just to finish in the top 20. As we got basically first, as I believe that's 1st to 18th, all in this pack. As Michael D. Kenner trying to mount a charge on the bottom. Sam Brochu not able to jump to the bottom. Kenny Reel's going to have to give a big shove to the 35 if he wants a chance at this inside line having any momentum. White flag is out, and the top 3 cars on the outside are all clear of the bottom. Matt Rucci takes a really long time to jump to the bottom. Side drafts the 48 or the 98 a little bit of Brochu. Side drafts him some more, almost gets into him. That was a dangerous move to be making when you're already essentially locked in, as long as you don't wreck. But now that inside line is almost equal with the outside line. Matt Rucci, but is not able to make the inside line have a charge, as the outside line tries to filter down to the bottom. As Sam Brochu gets hung out to dry. Matt Rucci gets turned around by Michael Kenner. Bear Pohemus involved as well. As a bunch of cars go around. That's Kenner involved. That's Baker. Many cars. As it's a mad dash to the finish line. Cato and Belsha get through, and will Baker and Kenner get to the line to get in the stage, as Peyton Howell wins the race. And yes, Jonathan T. Baker will just barely get through, as Matt Rucci is the first car out of the Daytona 250. He was leading the inside line on the last lap and was the first car out. Like I said in the beginning of this stream, Daytona giveth and Daytona taketh away. But let me go through the results real quick, as I can't pull them up on the screen. Peyton Howell, Gavin Allison, Sam Brochu, and that was about all I could get before my ticker reset to get the gridding of round 2 started. Or not round 2, duel number 2 started. So congratulations to Peyton Howell and everyone who made it into the top 20 of that duel and locked themselves into the SRL Daytona 250. In duel number 2, we got the 38 of Xander Short starting on the pole of this duel, with James Thurston in the number 96 on his outside in second. Trevor Huff in third with Nicholas Baumann in fourth. Ollie Reeves in fifth with Amir Bascombe in sixth. Austin Dorn, the number 55, starts off seventh with Tyler J. Curley in eighth. Rocky Boyd starting off in ninth, and Brian Lorenzo, my apologies, was the fastest in practice and gets 10th in duel 2. In 11th is a 25 of Shockey Tarpley. And in 12th is a 41 of Noah Larson. In 13th is a 9 of Andrew Cootie, followed by the 88 of Connor Zola. In 15th is the number 92 of Adam Contreras. He won the duel, or he won the clash. My apologies. He won the clash at Old Daytona, and looks like if he can transfer that over to New Daytona, he's going to be starting off in 15th. In 16th is Jacob Wilkerson. Came very close to winning the clash, so he's going to be behind an old foe in that number 92, but he's going to be starting 16th in the number 43. Juan Escamilla in the number 27, starting 17th, with Jason Brady in the number 97 in 18th. Joseph Lewis in 19th in that number 28, with Malachi Drake in the number 90 in 20th. And this duel will only have 26 drivers instead of 27, so we're going to have David Hamrick in the 32 starting 21st, with Brady Floyd in the 53 and 22nd. Nathan McLaughlin in the number 4 and 23rd, with Andres Varas in the 24 starting in 24th. Jordan Herring in the number 72 in 25th, and Brady Wildman in the number 51 rounding out the duels. And I will be taking a quick little break until the green flag, so please stand by for just 1 second, but I'll leave the stream up. Okay, we are back. I had to get a quick little bite in because this is a longer broadcast, so, and talking makes me hungry. So we are waiting for the green flag as we pace down the backstretch. Pace cards are off, so we are going to be taking the green flag next time by, and it's going to be Xander Short leading everyone to the green flag in this duel, as that is Trevor Huff taking the backstretch chicane. I must say, that is a very nice looking number 38. That Xander Short is driving right now. Same with the number 1 that Brian Lorenzo is driving. Both cars looking very nice. But Pace Car is about to dive into pit lane as we are about to start off the second duel of tonight's broadcast. Another 30-lap showdown. Pace car is in, and we are waiting for the green flag.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out, as looks like both lines get a pretty even start. James Thurston is starting to mount a charge on that outside line. Xander Short not able to clear up on the first lap, as I need to change the color to green, as looks like that outside line is going to have a lot of momentum. Nicholas Baumann, the number 8, giving James Thurston a very good push with help from the 21 of Amir Bascombe. As that outside line almost 2 cars clear, but Trevor Huff is doing a great job pushing Xander Short as much as he can. But it looks like Baumann and Thurston are going to be clear once they jump out of turns number 4 if they want to jump to the bottom, as they got that big run, but Trevor Huff is pushing Xander Short for all he's got, and he's doing a great job as the one of Brian Lorenzo jumps to the bottom with help from the 55 of Austin Doran, but side by side, about dead even through the center of the corner, as Ollie Reeves is blinking the third car on the inside. So that's not going to help the inside line too much, as you can't really push someone who's not there. But side by side, dead even down the back straight into turn 3, as there's a lot of shuffling in the back. So we might be able to get more laps green initially, as there was a big shove from Huff to Xander Short. As it looks like the momentum on the outside line kind of just died mid-corner. Don't know exactly what happened, as they were making it 3 wide back there. I don't know exactly who that was. I believe that was Hamrick. No, it was not Hamrick. My apologies. That is I can't tell who that is. It's anyways. I mean, I'm not gonna stress over it too much, because it's too difficult to read the number on there. But Xander Short leading the outside line with help from James Thurston. So it looks like he was able to clear that outside line once it lost the momentum through 3 and 4 last lap. And now Trevor Huff is going to be leading the bottom lane. So it looks like we've made more laps green than the first duel, as they are 3 wide in the back on lap number 3. But Xander Short going to lead lap number 3, coming to lap number 4, as the entire field is in one big pack right now, as they are going about 3 wide back there, as that 91 is Rocky Boyd the third. So my apologies for taking a little bit of time to decipher who that is, but they're going 3 wide. Whoa, Lorenzo going really sideways. Ollie Reeves going really sideways. So they are, looks like they're not really pushing very straight at all, as they are 3 wide for about about 20th place, as a car goes around. That's a 51 of Brady Wildman, and Andres Veras gets involved as well, as that brings out the caution. I was looking at my timing board when it happened, so let's get a replay on that real quick. So here, looking at Andres Veras right now, looks like he tries to push Wildman, or tries to go beneath Wildman, and just clips him in the quarter panel. Just a misjudging of the space. And Brady Wildman, oh, that's a big hit right in front of Hamrick as well. Hopefully that doesn't that might end Hamrick's race prematurely, because that was a hard hit into the outside wall. He definitely got the worst of it, even if Varus got some front end damage. As I'm not seeing anything for a meatball flag signifying too much damage, so Hamrick might have gotten a little bit lucky in regards to that, but he's definitely going to have to come down pit lane to try and get that car all fixed up. Everyone but James Thurston jumping down into pit lane. Looks like James Thurston thinking that maybe he can stretch it all the way on fuel. So he's going to take the track position over that. I don't think anyone else is going to take him up on his offer to stay out. So yeah, he's going to be the only car. He's going to be the only car that jumped into pit lane. As let me get a better camera angle of this. As Xander Short didn't get that great of a pit stop. Maybe he was just filling the car up all the way to the brim, and just came out behind everybody. But he's still in the top 10, so I don't think he's going to be sweating it too much. Yep. So your top 10 right now is James Thurston, Nicholas Baumann, Tyler Curley, Noah Larson, Trevor Huff, Connor Zola, Juan Escamilla, Xander Short, Jacob Wilkerson, and Jason Brady. That is your current top 10. Last car in at this current moment is the number 53 of Brady Floyd, and right behind him, the first car out, is the 25 of Shockey Tarpley. So we're getting reports that David Hamrick had to tow it to pit lane. So definitely, I don't think that's true. I don't know why it says that on my timing board, but that's what it says. But we are waiting to go green. As we have 25 laps to go, coming to 24 laps to go in duel number 2. I believe the pace car lights are most likely going to come off right here. And we're going to be going green next time by. Yep, cars are choosing their preferred lines. Thurston, Bauman, and Curley all choose the outside line, as Larson and Huff choose the inside line. So those are going to be your line leaders, James Thurston and Noah Larson. So we're gonna have a fun time here, as we will be restarting with 23 laps to go once we cross the stripe for the green flag. And I'd say it's pretty much almost anyone's race, as Bryce Hamrick and Andres Veras still got damaged cars, but I think that's still possible to get back into the top 20 with a little bit of luck. Why is it showing this? But into turns 3 and 4, James Thurston is going to be the control car, so he's going to be the one deciding when the field goes when they go into the Geico restart zone. And it's gonna be up to him to get a good start, but it's gonna be interesting to see what his strategy is, because he's stayed out, so maybe he's thinking that he could save enough fuel under caution to not necessitate a pit stop for fuel and maintain track position. But green flag is out, and looks about a pretty equal start. James Thurston with the advantage, but Noah Larson has Trevor Huff tucked up right to his rear end, so he's going to get pushed right about dead even entering turns 1 and 2. So they are going to be side by side throughout the entire corner for the lead, but it looks like the inside line is able to clear the outside, and we are getting some good pack racing here, as that outside line and inside line are about dead even coming into turns 3 and 4, but advantage goes to the inside line. But Nicholas Bauman doing a heck of a job pushing James Thurston through the corner to not allow Noah Larson to jump up top, as they're going to get a heck of a run down the front stretch. And Thurston's clear. I don't think Bauman is, but here comes Larson on the bottom as we finish lap 8 and go to lap 9. So 22 laps to go here, as Trevor Huff's mounting a charge on the inside, pushing Noah Larson, and it looks like they're going to be the line that has the run down the back straight this lap, as looks like the outside line got a little bit disconnected. But I don't think that 41 wants to move from the 54 since Trevor Huff has been pushing the 41 too well. But Trevor Huff, moving on his own initiative, jumps to the high side to get some clean air to cool off that car, and he's going to be leading the outside lane. And this might be what James Thurston was intending to save some fuel, as Ollie Reeves goes around in 31. Rocky Boyd also sideways. So let's get a replay going real quick to see what exactly happened. So looking at it right now, looks like Rocky Boyd tried to jump to the middle and just gets into the quarter panel of Ollie Reeves. And comes down across Malachi Drake as well. And Ollie Reeves trying to save the car. It's hard to save these next-gen cars. It goes spinning in front of the field. And I don't think the 28 of Joseph Lewis got too much damage from that. So good car control on his part. Just an unfortunate circumstance for Ollie Reeves, as there really was no reason for him to jump to the middle. But it looks like they're waiting for Trevor Huff and Noah Larson and James Thurston are all waiting for the pace car to pass them. As there's the pace car. Well, this would definitely be a good way to save some fuel for James Thurston, as Trevor Huff is the leader coming to that caution. So he's been making some good moves. And I doubt that anyone who wasn't involved in that wreck is going to come down pit lane again, as they're probably good on fuel. And it's going to be an all-out brawl to the finish, hopefully. But unfortunate for Ollie Reeves, who started, I believe, in the top 10, and is now currently in 23rd after getting caught up in that wreck. So you'll definitely need a turn of fortune, but right now, there's not a whole lot to say under caution, because it's just a duel. First car out of the main event is going to be the 53 of Brady Floyd right now. He's in the same position last caution, and he still found himself in 21st place. And that's Adam Contreras, the Clash winner, right behind him. I think Adam is just trying to ride around, and he'll just take a back of the pack starting position in the Daytona 250. But nothing really of note happening. I believe the pace car lights will come off, so they'll be going green next time by. As Noah Larson chooses the outside line and Trevor Huff chooses the inside line. Trevor Huff was doing a very good job pushing on the inside line and then moved up to the outside. So it'll be interesting to see how well he fares leading the inside line. But I tell you what, if there's anyone you want behind you to push you, to keep you in the lead, it's that number 96 of James Thurston. He is very, very good at pushing, and you also got Jason Brady in the number 97 right behind him. Well, a little bit of contact between the 54 and 96. Don't know what that was about, but it looks like they didn't get too much damage. So we will be restarting with 18 to go once we cross the stripe. And duel number 2. And duel number 1 had a caution at lap number 3 and lap number 15 or 16. So this race might be more caution filled than duel number 1 if they don't settle things down. But pace car is going to be pulling off here out of turn 4, and Trevor Huff is going to be the one controlling the field, in that number 54 Southwest Airlines Chevrolet. He's going to be the one controlling the field. Pace car is in pit lane, and once they get to the Geico restart box, the leader can go when he wants. Green flag is out, and Trevor Huff with a good start. A great help from James Thurston, as Jason Brady seems to be sleeping on the restart a little bit. And Noah Larson jumps from the high side down to the bottom, so he's going to be the third car on the bottom, as that leaves Connor Zola, the sole car on the outside line, or the car leading the outside line, rather, with Nicholas Baumann pushing him as hard as possible, as they're already going 3 wide back there. That's Andrew Cootie, and the number 9 getting pushed by Jacob Wilkerson through the middle to try and make up some positions, as I believe that's Shockey Tarpley jumping all the way to the top and getting in the wall a little bit. And now Wilkerson going to leave Cootie behind, but now that is the 72 of Jordan Herring looking to work with Cootie, but not much happening of it, as Baumann jumps to the middle, and he's going to be leading that middle line, as it is a big gaggle of cars here, all trying to fight to get towards the front, as the 77 of Tyler Curley gets in the outside wall a little bit. Him and Connor Zola dropping all the way to the back, not what they need, but it looks like nothing's happening on that outside line, as the 55 Austin Doran just gave the biggest chain bump I've ever seen in my life. Surprised that didn't bring out a caution, as the 21 of Amir Bescombe looks like to block the middle, and that might cause an accordion effect. Things are getting really hairy right now, as Xander Short goes up to block. Amir Bescombe not able to continue his momentum. They touch. Oh, right in front of the entire field. Oh, that's Adam Contreras involved in that number 92. Oh, that is no good, as it was just Xander Short trying to come up when the outside line had too much of a run, and I don't think Amir Bescombe could have checked up without causing a massive stack up behind him. But it looks like Rocky Boyd and Adam Contreras both got meatballs, so we will have to see a replay of that real quick. So give me one quick second. So it starts off with Xander Short not really he makes a good block on the outside, but I think it was just too late, and the run on the outside was already forming. Amir Bascombe tries to avoid the 38, just unsettles Xander Short's car, and they door each other and cause just a big old stack up, as Rocky Boyd tries to get through it, and it looks like Cootie hit the wall pretty hard in front of him with Jordan Herring, as I'm trying to see what might have caused him to get a meatball, as Cootie came right back down the track. Him and Herring both came right down the track like a heat-seeking missile, flew across the nose of Rocky Boyd. I don't know what Rocky Boyd, I think his steering might have been broken, but that also involved Baumann, as Wilkerson, trying to avoid the damaged car of Boyd, also hits the wall. So many cars down pit lane, as Trevor Huff continues to lead this chaotic duel number 2. We'll have the pit road, graphic up. The cars in pit lanes looks like Baumann, Nathan McLaughlin, Jacob Wilkerson, Malachi Drake, Adam Contreras, David Hamrick, Amir Bascom and Andres Veras. It looks like both Rocky Boyd and Andrew Cootie have retired from this event. So this thins the field down to 24 drivers from the starting 26. As it looks like everyone on pit road just trying to get their damage repaired to try and make it into the top 20, to make it into the big show. But I think next time by will be one to go, so the paint score lights will come off, and we'll have our drivers choose their lanes. Looks like Trevor Huff is doing some tire warming at a plate track, which is certainly peculiar, but I think that's more that he's just bored of these caution laps. Yeah, Trevor, yeah. Go in grass a little bit too, yeah. Try and extract some little bit of fun from these caution-filled duels. But cautions happen when you're all when you're all fighting for the honor to be in the Daytona 250. So one could say that this was to be expected. But it looks like we'll be going green with 12 laps to go once we cross the start-finish line. And Jason Brady has been doing a pretty good job of keeping his car pretty clean throughout all of this. I believe he started mid-pack or near the back, and has just very silently worked his way to the front. And he's currently the second car on the inside line. As Trevor Huff takes the backstretch chicane for the second time this race, trying to extract all the metric amounts of fun at these plate cautions. But basically lights are off, so we are going to be going green this time by. We still got 24 cars in the running here. Some are damaged, some are not. We got 12 laps to go once we cross the stripe, and it's going to be Trevor Huff leading the field to the third restart of the race. Pace car is in, and green flag is out. Good jump for Trevor Huff. Jason Brady clips the apron a little bit, and that's going to allow Noah Larson and Brady Wildman to get hooked up and push James Thurston all the way out to the lead. They might all three clear the bottom. Larson's able to clear Huff, but Wildman is not, and he's going to give Thurston a big shot through the corner, and they are side by side for the lead out of turn 2. And Wildman is giving Thurston everything he's got with 12 to go, and Jordan Herring, who was in that last wreck, is able to be one of the first cars on that outside line, as looks like the outside line is going to have the advantage coming out of the corner, as they're going to have the big run off the banking, and that inside line is very squiggly, not able to get it hooked up like the 51 and the 96 are. And both the 51 and 96 are able to clear to the bottom if they want to, but they're having such good chemistry right now. I don't think that they'd want to with 11 laps to go, as now Trevor Huff starts to put the car in a high gear, and that inside line has a massive run. Noah Larson with a big run and a lot of help from Trevor Huff, as Jason Brady gets hooked up to the back of the 54, and now Xander Short and Austin Doran helping out on that inside line. Is going to be Larson with the advantage, as I don't know why it's showing that it doesn't have a back end right now, but that car is still driving very good. Oh, sideways for the 41. Does he save it? Yes, he does. Great save. But that is going to cause a big delay for that inside line as now the outside line takes control. As I don't know what exactly happened there. I don't know if it was a glitch that the 41 lost his rear end, but something happened and the 41 got sent around. Now the only two cars in the inside line are Trevor Huff and Jason Brady. So they are going to have to work together to try to get something going. But when you got the 51 and the 96 hustling on the high side, that is a tall order as we are coming to 9 laps to go. And it seems like the people up top right here just want to run the laps down and get to the finish. As that has dropped Noah Larson to about to 20th spot, about 3 seconds back. And it looks like the inside line is starting to form. They got 3 cars back there, but nothing of note really happening, as that is Jason Brady leading he jumps to the high side and gets in the wall a little bit, but now it's Brady Floyd and Malachi Drake running the bottom, and Austin Doran wants to lead the charge, but he's not. He came down way too early, and the inside line got too much of a run. Then Juan Escamilla is starting to jump to the inside, but he is way too far ahead. The 53 and the 90 are either going to have to slow up a lot for him or run straight into the back of him. It looks like they ran straight into the back of him. But now that inside line is starting to have some momentum because that outside line is scraping the wall a little bit. Xander Short jumps to the inside, side drafting the heck out of that outside line, and Trevor Huff with a big shove to the back of the 38. Now that inside line's got a lot more momentum. Now it can make its way up to the lead, as James Thurston suddenly has a lot more company on the inside line, as that inside line is now overtaken the outside line, as Trevor Huff is able to clear to the outside of Xander Short in front of James Thurston. So Trevor Huff to the point. And now a big battle all from about 1st to 17th right now, as Xander Short leading the bottom lane with a lot of help from Austin Doran, as Short jumps to the high side in front of Huff. That's going to check up the outside line, and now the inside line is going to have a big run through turns 3 and 4. But Huff and Short know how to work together, especially with James Thurston and Brady Wildman beefing up that outside line. Austin Doran, I don't think, has led a line this entire race. Coming to 6 laps to go. Huff to the bottom. Thurston to the bottom. Just barely clears in front of Austin Doran. Oh, that was close. Inches of space between front and rear bumper. Now that inside line has a lot more momentum now that some of their best pushers on the outside line jump to the bottom. And it's going to be Trevor Huff leading James Thurston and Austin Doran on the inside line. Xander Short and Brady Wildman trying to get something going up top. It's going to take a little bit longer as Juan Escamilla and Brady Floyd jump to the high side. So they are going to be the ones leading the outside line as they pass Clash winner Adam Contreras, who's 1 lap down. I don't think he's going to be making it to the Daytona 250, unfortunately. But it looks like it is the inside line dominating right now, as just not a lot of help to go with that outside line, as I think people have started to realize it is 5 to go. Everyone in this pack is locked in. My apologies for that. Yeah, everyone in this pack is locked in to the Daytona 250, so no need to do anything super crazy. But we said that about Matt Rucci last duel, and he ended up finishing 1 spot outside the top 20. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and we will have a very clean finish. But Trevor Huff leading basically the only line forming right now, as Brady Floyd looks to make an outside line where he doesn't have any takers, jumps back to the inside. But it looks like he's getting tired of all the checkups that's happening in the middle of that inside line, as Ollie Reeves and Jordan Herring look to make something happen up top. So if they can get if they can get hooked up, they can start something up there as Tyler Curley and Brady Floyd start to make some moves as they approach the lap car of Amir Bascombe, and Curley jumps to the inside. So now it's just 3 cars: Floyd, Reeves, and Herring on the outside. And this lap car might actually screw over Tyler Curley a little bit because it's going to be hard for him to get some help as Malachi Drake jumps to the top of the outside line. He's going to be leading the charge on the outside with help from Brady Floyd. Now Austin Doran looking to lead as he jumps up in front, and both Thurston and Huff jump to the outside to block the outside lane. Now Drake jumps to the bottom. He's going to be leading the inside lane. Brady Floyd follows him, and now Trevor Huff jumps to the bottom to cut off that run on the inside. So great pack racing here at Daytona. This is what we wanted to see as Brady Huff getting pushed by Malachi Drake and Brady Floyd. James Thurston, Austin Doran not able to do a whole lot on the outside lane as it starts to fizzle out with cars jumping to the bottom. But James Thurston, he's always got a rocket ship underneath that hood, so he might get something working with Austin Doran and Jordan Herring. But the inside line has a lot more cars and is a lot more connected. When will Malachi Drake jump up to the top to try and get past Trevor Huff? 2 laps to go here at Daytona. And James Thurston and Austin Doran are starting to very slowly make their way up as they'll have to split the lap cars of Hamrick and Wilkerson. Looks like they do so pretty cleanly. And now Malachi Drake trying to get to the top or push Trevor Huff, not able to make it happen. Doran jumps to the bottom, completely leaves Thurston out to dry until Jordan Herring gets to him. And now Herring and Wildman are going to be leading the outside lane. Just passing is the last car in is Noah Larson. As Thurston gets a big shove from Wildman and Herring to the lead, and both Herring and Thurston will be able to clear the bottom. And Wildman, what a push on the outside lane from those 3 cars coming to the white flag. All 3 of them are able to clear Trevor Huff, and a little bit of a miscommunication down the front stretch, causing that as they approach the 41 of Noah Larson, who looks like he's going to hold it low. So every car will have to go high. I don't know what Larson, why he twitched right there. Maybe his car is loose or something. But it's going to be James Thurston leading Jordan Herring and Brady Wildman all the way to the line. 3 wide in the back as they try to split. The 41, Curley gets into Escamilla a little bit, but it's going to be James Thurston winning duel number 2 as that is Austin Doran spinning across the line. Your results, Thurston, Herring, Wildman, Huff, Drake, Brady Floyd, Curley, Escamilla, Doran, Ollie Reeves, Brian Lorenzo, Shockey Tarpley, Joseph Lewis, Xander Short, Jason Brady, Nathan McLaughlin, Connor Zola, Nicholas Bauman, Andres Ferris, and last car to make it in is the 41 of Noah Larson. First car out is the number 32 of David Hamrick. Then Jacob Wilkerson, Amir Bascombe, Adam Contreras, Rocky Boyd, and Andrew Cootie all missed the big show. So that is the end of the duels as we finally get into the main part of our stream. We've been streaming for an hour and a half, and we just got to the meat and potatoes of it. Well, almost. We're about 5 minutes away from it. So while everyone is warming up, I am going to mute my mic and allow you all to get a drink, some snacks, the whole shebang. So I will see you with about a minute left or less in warm up. as that warm-up ended a lot quicker than I expected. I apologize. I still had food in my mouth. I'm eating chicken and rice with peppers right now. But this is the first starting lineup of Season 4 of SRL, Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. So let's go through your grid. On pole for this race, locked himself in through qualifying, is Riley Marabello in the number 16, and Season 3 champion Sean Rowe on his outside in the number 99. As that's not correct at all. I don't know why it says Matt Rucci. So it looks like because of the heat system, we'll have to use the results format, but so that's fine. If I can go back a little bit. Okay, so it's gonna be Riley Marabello, then Sean Rowe, and then in row number 2 is the 52 of Peyton Howell, and then on his outside is James Thurston in the number 96.
Hold on, not going.
In 5th is the 02 of Gavin Austin, and then the 72 of Jordan Herring, and then it's the number 98 of Sam Brochu, and the number 51 of Brady Wildman. And rounding off the top 10 is going to be the 26 of Bladen Edwards and the number 54 of Trevor Huff. And then let me get the next one. Okay, Nicholas Martinez Jr. in the number 48 is going to be the first car outside the top 10. And then in 12th, it's going to be the 90 of Malachi Drake. And 13th is the 46 of Cole Denton, followed by Brady Floyd and Riley Garcia. And 16th is the number 77 of Tyler J. Curley. And on his inside, or behind him, is going to be the 12 of Trevor Haley. On his outside is going to be the number 27 of Juan Escamilla. And rounding off the top 20 is going to be the 19, or not the 19, in 19th, rounding out the top 20, is going to be James Bomar. And on his outside is going to be the number 55 of Austin Doran in 20th. In 21st, first car outside the top 20 is going to be Andretti Robinson, the number 45, followed by Ollie Reeves. Kenny Reel in the number 11 in 23rd, followed by the number 1 of Brian Lorenzo. And 25th is going to be the 30 of Matthew Miles, followed by Shockey Tarpley in the number 25. And 27th is going to be Braden Hill making his first SRL start with Joseph Lewis on his outside, the number 28. Chase Crow in the number 39 is going to be starting in 29th, with Xander Short, who is on pole in duel number 2, starting 30th. And 31st is going to be Keelan Belcher, the number 18, with Jason Brady on his outside. Zachary Cato made it into the big show after sustaining damage in duel 1, starting 33rd. Nathan McLaughlin in the number 4 in 34th on his outside. Michael Kenner almost won duel 1, ended in almost heartbreak, but finished just well enough to get into the big show, starting in 35th in the number 31. Connor Zola in the number 88 on his outside in 36th. Jonathan T. Baker, same story with Michael Kenner in 37th. Andres Veras had a heck of a roller coaster to get to the big event, starting in 38th. Then Michael Deitch in 39th in that number 57, with Nicholas Baumann just barely making it in 40th. And then Frederick Seagraves Jr. It was the last driver to make it into the Daytona 250 in that number 59. And Noah Larson was the last driver to make it in, the last driver in duel number 2. So now that we've gotten that taken care of, we are going green for 100 laps here in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. I swear, I will get that right one day, and the world will be so much happier for that. But we will be going green, as it looks like Riley Marabello is electing for a pit start. Interesting strategy, as that will put Peyton Howell. They'll put Peyton Howell on the inside line, but the initial start is on green, so no one will have an inherent advantage. But interesting strategy from Marabella. Looked like he's going to be trying to play the long game. But pace car pulling in, and we are about to go green for the first time this season. Green flag is out for the Daytona 250 in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. About an equal start for both lanes as Peyton Howell and Sean Rowe battle to get to turn 1 first. And looks like it's going to be Peyton Howell with the advantage as they pass Riley Marabella. Marabella might be able to jump to the back of the pack and hang on to the draft. But James Thurston giving Sean Rowe a little bit of a shove, and he's going to jump to the outside. Sean Rowe immediately in the sucker hole, not even halfway through the first lap. He's not going to be too happy about that. But now it is Peyton Howell and James Thurston running the lines right now as Sean Rowe is able to jump to the high side, but he's going to be back in about 15th spot, it looks like. So Peyton Howell is going to be the one leading the inside line, and now a familiar combination of James Thurston and Jordan Herring working together. We saw it in Duel 2, how well they work together, and that's also, I believe, Brady Wildman working with them, as Peyton Howell will be leading the first lap of the official SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. But that is Gavin Austin in the 0-2 on the inside, leading the inside line with Sam Brochu right behind him. But it's going to be hard to separate Peyton Howell and James Thurston, as I don't know if that was a visual glitch or something, but I just saw the back bumper of Peyton Howell fly off for some reason. Hopefully that doesn't affect his car's handling or whatever, but that was certainly an odd visual thing. But 2 laps complete with a full field of 42 cars. Looks like we haven't had any issues yet, but that rear clip still hasn't welded itself to the back of the 52. So I don't know what caused his rear end to fall off. But now Gavin Austin jumping to the high side, cutting off James Thurston, and now the 52 is going to get a big bump from the 98 of Sam Brochu, and now the 52 is going to be still leading the inside line, as Gavin Austin wasn't able to mount the run that he wanted immediately, as they're going 3 wide behind him. That's Sean Rowe and Kenny Reels going around Malachi Drake, and I believe that is Brady Floyd. But Gavin Austin leading the way right now on the outside as we hit lap number 4. And Gavin Austin leading the way. Cole Denton has made his way up into this lead group of cars, as that is, I believe, James Bomar in the number 20, making it 3 wide. Trevor Huff jumps to the middle, and Cole Denton gets left on the high side, but he'll be able to merge down into traffic right below or right behind Tyler Curley. So it's still mostly 2x2 racing. And Gavin Austin still controlling that outside line, getting a lot of help from Jordan Herring. And Thurston is able to keep up with a lot of help from Peyton Howell. I don't think that missing back end is hurting Howell too much, at least not that I know of, as James Bomar makes it 3 wide all the way up top, puts Trevor Huff in the sucker hole, as he's going to have to drop back to about 12th spot right in front of Cole Denton. And Gavin Austin is pretty much commanding that outside line, just not even bothering to move to the bottom, since that outside line might be the way to go for the early runnings of this race. But James Thurston making a charge on that inside line, trying to get something working with Peyton Howell in the 52. And we'll have to see if these relationships will still hold up after pit stops. Which, if things are going at the rate that they are with these people up front, it looks like we might be able to go fully green, as Michael Kenner already has damage, and he's about to get lapped, so he's going to be putting all the way up top. So I don't know what happened with Michael Kenner, but it looks like Looks like he got involved in some sort of accident and put it in the wall. That's a very unfortunate start to Kenner's race, as he's the first car lapped. As let me put up the intervals real quick. But yeah, Gavin Austin still leading. It looks like that inside line just doesn't have a whole lot for the outside line at this current moment. And James Bomar has made his way up to fourth on that outside line. And now Bomar jumps to the bottom to lead the inside line, trying to get something going. As I believe that's a 52 of Howell jumps up top to the outside line to get away from James Thurston. As it looks like that outside line is the one that's primarily moving, but when you got James Bomar and James Thurston working together along with Sam Brochu, anything can happen on that inside lane. And Gavin Austin realizes that and sees the run that's being put forward by the inside and goes down to block it. And almost gets turned by Bomar trying to come up the track with him. Good save by both drivers to not cause an accident as Bomar slices and dices to the bottom right in front of James Thurston. Jordan Herring giving Gavin Austin a little bit of a shove entering the corner to help him along his way. As Payne Howell stuck on the outside, not getting any help. And he'll have to slot back in about 15th spot as James Bomar will lead lap number 9 ahead of James Thurston and Sam Brochu. Those three cars are able to clear to the top if they want to, but Thurston and Bomar are working very well together. They're even gapping Sam Brochu right now since they're so well tucked nose to tail. Or maybe Thurston's trying to push Bomar out just a little bit too far, and then once that run on the outside builds, kind of leave him out to dry. But I tell you what, they have about 2 car lengths between they had at least 2 car lengths between Thurston and Brochu, as now Brochu, very late move to go up top to help James Thurston take the lead. Ends up making it cleanly, so no harm, no foul. But it looks like he hesitated a little bit as the leaders come up on the soon-to-be lapped car of Connor Zola in that number 88. As Zola gets in the wall a little bit. And Thurston still leading that outside line with help from Sam Brochu, as Sean Rowe looks to make a third lane happen with Tyler Curley putting Jordan Herring in the soccer hole. Cole Den got a little loose. Good save by him to not spin in front of the field. As we go back to regularly scheduled 2-wide racing, and it's James Thurston and James Bomar leading the lines, but Sam Brochu is getting a heck of a run on that outside line that Bladen Edwards in the 26 is just not able to give to the 20 of Bomar. And Thurston has been leading, seems to have been leading the majority of this race, it seems, thus far, as we are 11 laps and we got 90 laps to go, as they're approaching Seagraves, who started second to last and is about to be lapped. My timing board says that he might have gotten into Michael Kenner, which contributed to his damage, but we'll never know until we get a replay of it. But James Thurston jumps to the bottom, then jumps back to the top, doing a good job at managing both lanes to keep him up front. But you gotta be wondering, when will James Thurston pit and when will the rest of the field, as the field comes up across Seagraves. And now Sam Brochu jumps to the bottom and Thurston not able to respond. So now Gavin Austin is going to be pushing James Thurston as, a little bit of an awkward push from James Bomar to Sam Brochu. That's going to check up the inside line a lot and give the outside line a lot of momentum. Sean Rowe trying to make it 3-wide on Gavin Austin. Couldn't get it to work. And he's going to remain the third car on the outside line James Thurston still leading the outside line, but Sam Brochu getting a lot of help from James Bomar, and pretty much only James Bomar, as Bladen Edwards is not connected to the back of that 20 at all, to push him to lead that, to push Brochu to lead that lap. And Brochu is completely clear of Thurston if he wants to jump up high, which honestly is a pretty tempting offer if that outside run gets a little bit of a, if that outside line gets a little bit of a run again. But the top 4 cars are all clear of that outside line, as Sean Rowe looking to make it 3 wide as they split Gavin Austin in that 0-2, and they become the outside line. Gavin Austin jumps to the bottom. Looks like Brady Floyd wasn't expecting that and had to check up a lot, but that outside line lost a lot of momentum from that. And now James Thurston all the way back in about 10th or so right now, as that outside line has to take some time to recover its lost momentum. And it's Sam Brochu and James Bomar on the inside, but a big run on the outside from James Thurston and Sean Rowe. James Thurston side drafting the heck out of everyone on the inside line to get a run, and Brochu goes up top. Thurston all the way to the 3rd line, and they're gonna split. Brochu, as Brochu's gonna be kicking himself for that, as that did not work out in any way that he wanted it to work. As he's going to be on the outside and then going to get split by Gavin Austin. But now it is Thurston and Sean Rowe on the high side, as the inside line has to take time to regain momentum. But Bomar and Edwards working together quite well, as Thurston jumps to the bottom in front of James Bomar. And if there's one driver in that pack who is very good at pushing, that I haven't mentioned this race so far, it is the 51 of Brady Wildman, who's 4th on the inside line. So he snuck his way up into the top 10, as we are still dead even about I'd say almost about a 5th of the way through this race, coming to lap 16 out of 100. And Thurston still able to hold him off. But Curley not square with Sean Rowe, and that's going to check up the outside line just a little bit. But the inside line also has a lot more cars working with it than the outside line does. I'd say about 25 cars on the inside line and about 10 cars on the outside line. But Sean Rowe jumps to the bottom, and he's going to take lead of the inside line. That's going to leave Tyler Curley as the person leading the outside line if James Thurston doesn't jump up there. And James Thurston does jump up there, and that's going to leave a huge gap. I was about to say between Sean Rowe and James Bomar, but Tyler Gurley filled up that gap quite nicely. So minimal losses for that inside line, as Sean Rowe has to rebuild the momentum. And Cole Denton has made his way into the top 3 in the number 46. Showing how he can ring these cars around plate tracks. But it is the James Thurston show right now, getting a heck of a push from Jordan Herring. But that outside line is a lot less connected than the top 3 on the inside line are, as they're essentially chain bumping each other to gain momentum. And Thurston's going to have the run on the outside, so it looks like he's going to be keeping his momentum on the outside line. The inside line is going to take just a little bit longer to get up to the front, as we are at lap number 18 out of 100. Jordan Herring having to drop back a little bit, maybe to cool off the car a little bit after he's been pushing James Thurston so hard. And he's going to give Thurston another big shot down the backstretch, as that is Trevor Haley in the number 12 and Brady Floyd making their way into the top 5 as they reach Michael Kenner again, who's going to be riding on the bottom. This could be a big hazard to everyone, as Kenner really doesn't have a place to go but besides the apron. Holds up Sean Rowe. Oh, everything gets really, really tense. 4 wide as Kenner tries to rejoin the track. Oh, it's the leader's choice to safely get around lapped cars, but it's also sort of an unwritten rule that lapped cars should really be advised to get out of the leader's way no matter what. But that was a very scary almost accident that basically happened, as James Thurston still leading the outside line. That's Trevor Haley on the inside as Sam Brochu gets in the wall a little bit, getting pushed by Ollie Reeves in 31. And it looks like Trevor Haley's going to lead that lap, coming to lap number 20 out of 100 with help from Gavin Austin, a familiar face, and Trevor Huff. As Trevor Haley jumps to the high side, I'd say that he did it a little early because that's going to give Trevor Huff and Gavin Austin a heck of a run by themselves as it checks up the outside line a little bit. But James Thurston glued to the back of that number 12, so that outside line is not going anywhere. As we've had some really close calls so far, but we've had these first 20 laps coming to 21 laps under green flag conditions. And considering that most people in the duels pit on the caution around lap 5, lap 6, as Sean Rowe jumps to the high side, makes me wonder if the field will start mellowing out a little bit for green flag pit stop soon. Maybe around like lap 26, 27. As they approach the lap cars of Michael Deitch and Nicholas Baumann, looks like they pit started to try and avoid the chaos, as most of the field gets by them without too much of a trouble. As I saw a couple cars get in the wall. Well, that's what happens when you're running so close right next to that saver barrier. Kind of reaches out and grabs you a little bit. But about 10 cars running the Dale line right now, as Brady Floyd and Trevor Haley and Trevor Huff, and I think that's Sam Brochu back there, start forming an inside line of cars. That is a smoking Joseph Lewis on the apron, out of harm's way. So it looks like an early end to Lewis's Daytona 250 hopes, as they are 3 wide in the back. Kenny Reel gets a little bit of an awkward touch from the number 7 of Braden Hill, as they're still 3 wide battling out. I think Hill came down a little bit, but no cars went around, so it might have just been a close call. But back to the lead, Brady Floyd leading the inside line to try and have an answer for James Thurston's dominance right now on that outside lane, as he's getting a lot of help from Jordan Herring. And Cole Denton currently that third car on the outside lane, that Chevrolet City car. But Brady Floyd with a big head of steam on the bottom, getting pushed through the corners by Trevor Haley. He's going to have the advantage coming to the stripe, and he's not able to clear Thurston just yet. So they're still side by side, as Thurston's going to have the big run into turn 1, but Brady is going to have the shorter way around the track, but the inside line is not as packed up as the outside line is. So that outside line is going to get a great run down the back stretch, and Thurston might be able to clear. No, he won't. Trevor Huff came in time with a push to Trevor Haley just in time to prevent Herring from jumping down if he wanted to. So it's not really gridlock, as another big shot in the center of the corner for Trevor Haley to the back of Brady Floyd, sorry. And now James Thurston jumps to the bottom a quarter of the way through this race, as they approach the lap car of Andres Veras in that number 24. And Veras jumps to the apron almost, scaring James Thurston a little bit, as I think Thurston thought that he was going to be like Michael Kenner and run the bottom lane. But now Sean Rowe jumps to the high side with help from Trevor Curley and Ollie Reeves trying to get to the back end of that 77. Big shove from Curley, and both him and Rowe are able to jump to the bottom, as James Bomar and Austin Dorn and a few other cars are now going into pit lane So let me get the pit road thing out. So yeah, Austin Doran, James Bomar, Nicholas Martinez Jr., Connor Zola, and Seagraves in there as well. But it's Ollie Reeves leading that outside line as Trevor Curley gets pushed below the yellow line. But Ollie Reeves doesn't have any help, and now it's going to be Bladen Edwards running the bottom. Will these drivers be the one to come into pit lane this time by lap 26 coming to 27? So it looks like green flag pit stops are just starting to kick off. A bunch of cars flying into pit lane. I see Curley jumping in there, and most of the cars jumping to the bottom right now are getting geared up for pit road. So Curley, Thurston, Herring, Huff, Gavin Austin, the 11. Oh, I see Wildman. I see Deech in there as well. So a lot of cars in pit lane right now as Bladen Edwards leads that lap. And he might be looking to go into pit lane this time by as the field is starting to string out to have clean as possible entry to pit road. Let's see if Bladen goes in. Yep, Bladen, Peyton Howell, Sean Rowe. I think that's Brady Floyd that stays out. Yeah, Brady Floyd stayed out. Same with Ollie Reeves. So it looks like they're looking to try and get the lap sled. But I'm seeing Bladen Edwards, Peyton Howell, Sean Rowe, Cole Denton, Sam Brochu, Braden Hill, McLaughlin, Trevor Haley, Juan Escamilla, Marabello, and a few other cars, including Coda. As the 30 of Mills gets punted into the, or not Mills, Miles. Matthew Miles gets punted into the outside wall. A little bit of an accordion effect. Oh, and that car has got a meatball. That is a collapsed right front suspension on that 30 car. That is so unfortunate for the number 30 as all of these remaining drivers coming to pit lane. Big lockup from the 53. Another big lockup. Hopefully it didn't speed. But that's also Malachi Drake in there as well with Andretti Robinson, Shockey Tarpley, and a few other cars in there as well. So let's see where so we're looking at Sam Brochu, Sean Rowe, and Bladen Edwards right now, as currently the I believe the leaders the leader right now is once these cycle out is going to be Bladen Edwards and Sean Rowe, as Matthew Miles gets credited with a lap led. But yeah, Bladen Edwards and Sean Rowe and Sam Brochu all blast by Ollie Reeves and Brady Floyd, as we got a green flag pit stop cycle in, as I can finally get the pit road graphic off your screen. But yeah, it is currently Bladen Edwards, Sean Rowe, and Sam Brochu leading the way as drivers are trying to get out of their are trying to get back into the cycle, as it's about 10 cars up front. Let me see. Yeah, it's about 8 cars right now, within a second and a half of the leaders. This lead pack being led by Sean Rowe and Bladen Edwards, as it's very, very strung out racing right now. Kenny Rio hanging to the back of this, but Sean Rowe is going to be leading that outside line. But I think that these packs are going to be closed up pretty soon, as we're about to probably go from about 5 cars or 5 or 6 cars in this pack to about 12. As Sean Rowe blinks out a little bit, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna help this lead group of cars case, as they'll have to check up for Sean Rowe blinking out for a second. But multiple cars, right? Yeah, but about 6 cars, and then a group of about another 6, and then I'd say about another 10 behind them, all trying to get to the trying to get to the lead pack, as we have 2 cars out of this race with Nathan McLaughlin and Michael D. Kenner both retiring from today's event prematurely, not even before the 1/3 mark. But that second pack of Trevor Huff, Trevor Huff, Peyton Howell, Braden Hill, and Chase Crawl all working together very well to get to the lead pack. And they've successfully done it so they can ride a little easy. And then all the way behind them, it's Brady Floyd, Tyler Curley, Brady Wildman, Nicholas Martinez Jr., and Trevor Haley all trying to get to this lead pack. And behind them, about 2 seconds back, it's Jordan Herring getting pushed by Zachary Cato, then Juan Escamilla, Brian Lorenzo, Malachi Drake, and a bunch of other cars. Basically filling out the cars that aren't super destroyed. So let me see if I can get a intervals. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. I was just tweaking something. But James Thurston's still leading this pack, as I can't really tell if Brady Floyd is catching Chase Crawl. It looks like this little group right here is ever so slightly slower. 8.48 for Chase Crawl and an 8.51 for Brady Floyd, as them constantly swapping cars isn't really going to help their case, as Curley ran a 7.38 and Chase Crawl ran a 9.19, so no real point. And I was saying that, and now those 3 cars get a massive run on the bottom. They've caught up to the back end of the lead pack, and these 3 cars are hustling. Oh, that was a very close call by Braden Hill to chop off Curley right there. I personally wouldn't have done that with the amount of momentum that Wildman, Curley, and Martinez had, but to each their own. And now that might have separated them from the lead pack. So I don't think that they're going to be too happy with Braden Hill, but we're only 35 out of 100 laps in. As during that little charge right before Braden Hill blocked that 3-car draft pack, Brady Wildman, who's the car in the middle, set the fastest lap with a 65.61, or not 65, a 45.611. So a very fast lap. But as we look back to James Thurston coming up on, I believe that is the 40 of Garcia, if I'm not mistaken, of Riley Garcia and Xander Short. Yeah, Xander Short and Riley Garcia, both cars multiple laps down. Or, I'm not mistaken, Xander Short is about to go a lap down, and Riley Garcia is now 2 laps down. But lap cars being courteous and staying on the low side while everyone decides to make a big old draft pack up top just to try to run down the laps and get this race over with. As we are doing a phenomenal job of keeping it green so far. And my timer is telling me that if we don't get any cautions, we will be able to finish this race by about 11 o'clock. As Sean Rowe jumps the inside, he wants to take the lead, as he'll jump in front of the relatively undamaged car of Riley Garcia on the inside line. So we have a mix of lead lapped cars and lapped cars, but James Thurston is still leading the top lane with help from Bladen Edwards. Edwards not able to clear Sean Rowe on the bottom. Only James Thurston really has that luxury right now, and not anymore as Sean Rowe gets a really good run into turns 1 and 2. But it's going to be Thurston who has to run down the back straight, but they're about even. Dare I say that Garcia is able to get more of a run to Sean Rowe than Bladen Edwards was to get to Thurston. So 2 by 2, about 10 cars deep right now, as we have so this is about 1st through 16th, and then Jordan Herring in 17th to about 27th, all trying to work together to catch the leaders here. It's gonna be a tough job. They have to make up about 3 seconds on some of the on some really good plate racers, but it's very possible, especially if a caution were to come out. But James Thurston and Sean Rowe duking it out for the lead right now as we approach lap 40. We are almost 40% of the way through this race. And that outside line is still very, very dominant. It looks like the inside line just can't really have the momentum. But I can't see why you'd really want the momentum anyways, because it's lap 40 out of 100. If you've already led a lap, and I don't know if this gives points out for leading 1 lap, but like if you've led a lap, you've gotten your bonus point. No point in really trying anything crazy until the halfway caution here at lap number 50, because coming up in 10 laps is the halfway caution in SRL, designed to bunch the field together and for more exciting racing, with points payouts to, I believe, the top 10 in the running order when the caution is thrown. So Sean Rowe and company are looking to go use the inside line and use lap cars as help to get extra points, which may come in handy when it's crunch time later on in the season, by the time the chase starts. But James Thurston currently still leading the outside line, doing his best. And James Thurston doing a very good job thus far. But Sean Rowe to the inside, a nose ahead of James Thurston as they're side by side, but Bladen Edwards is hooked right up to the back of that 96. Riley Garcia had a little bit of a bobble exiting the corner and was not able to and not able to give Sean Rowe the push that he needed. So James Thurston probably going to get most laps led unless something catastrophic happens. But Sam Brochu in that number 98, it looks like 48 on the broadcast because he has the wrong paint scheme on, but that's Sam Brochu, third in line on the outside lane. If he wants to, he could jump down and supplement that run from the inside line, but that inside line is getting a heck of a run into turns 3 and 4 and might be able to make something happen. Make something happen to the outside line if they can keep this momentum up coming up to lap number 44, as Sean Rowe will have the advantage coming to the stripe that time by. The inside line's finally starting to get its act together. Maybe the outside line is starting to fall apart. As let's check up on people in the back. And I mentioned I mentioned earlier that there was a second pack from about 18th onward. They have caught the leaders. So like I said, it's very possible to catch the leaders from 3 seconds back when you're in a much smaller pack. So they're in it just as much as everyone else is, and it's about the top, I'd say, 26 cars right now in this main pack, including 2 lapped cars. So we got pretty much the entire field, and then a few stragglers, and then a few stragglers. As we are going 3 wide, Kenny Real up top with no help. No help with him right now. Gavin Austin was thinking about it. Gavin Austin taking a really long time to think about it. And now Gavin Austin helping Kenny Real along with Trevor Huff. And he's got a convoy. Chase Crawl and a bunch of other cars looking to jump to the top as Thurston and Bladen Edwards take over that top line. So now it's really formed to a middle line for 3 wide racing as James Bomar is stuck in the middle with Austin Dorn right behind him. And whoa, Curley got really close to Austin Dorn. Nothing happened. But now Gavin Austin is leading the outside line as that outside line moves further inwards. And you still got Trevor Huff, a very good pusher, right behind you. And they're going to have a meaty run on the outside line. Will Brochu try to block? No, really close. But now Kenny Real is stuck in the middle, 3 wide, in a not really enviable spot, as he has to get help from Bomar, as that's Thurston in the wall a little bit on the outside line. That outside line might check up just enough for the middle lane to be viable, but that middle lane is doing nothing but falling back right now, not getting the help it needs. But it might just get a lifeline from Gavin Austin and Trevor Huff jumping to the middle to make that middle line viable. And here comes Bladen Edwards blocking the bottom. A big shove to the corner. Almost contact between Thurston and Rowe. I'm surprised they kept it straight through the corner. They are racing for everything that they're worth for this halfway caution as Sean Rowe leaves the outside line. Now Gavin Austin jumps to the inside line. Trevor Huff, working with Gavin Austin, went from pretty much 3 seconds back to second place in about 15 laps. Great effort by him. Now Thurston moving to the middle lane. Sean Rowe has lost a lot of momentum in the sucker hole, as I think Martinez bounced off the wall a little bit. Now Gavin Austin jumps to the bottom. Thurston back to his spot on the top lane. And will Gavin Austin cut off that top lane when he has a big shove from Trevor Huff? He tries to do it, and he's too late. The outside already had too much momentum, and he was already committed to making the block, so it just did not work. Trevor Huff going to be leading the outside lane, as that caused a big checkup on the inside lane. So it's gonna be Trevor Huff and Bladen Edwards working together to try and take the halfway caution flag for themselves. And will Sam Brochu jump to the inside line? Because Sam Brochu knows how good of a pusher Trevor Huff is. But Trevor Huff is going to get to the inside if Brochu doesn't make a move quick. And now Trevor Huff is to the inside of Sam Brochu. So what will Trevor Huff do? He has 2 laps, or I think 1 lap actually, to make it to the halfway point. As Bladen Edwards giving Trevor Huff a big shove, going below the yellow line almost to try to get air in his nose. And now James Thurston running up in P1 all the way on the outside line with help from Sam Brochu. Brochu backs it off a little bit to try and level the playing field, but it's going to be James Thurston leading it to halfway. And will we get a caution, or is it 1 lap extra? We are at lap 50. And we haven't gotten anything yet. Let me check the rules on halftime real quick, as we are... So yeah, halftime was supposed to be lap 50, which I assumed was a caution. Maybe it's lap 51. for that. But James Thurston still leading as we have 3 wide race and all the way in the back. Brady Floyd almost gets turned by one of the Snowman Motorsports designs, and then the caution comes out, coming to lap 51. Okay, so it was at lap 51. And it's going to be Sam Brochu leading the field to the caution flag at the halfway point. So our first caution of the night is the halftime caution. So very clean racing so far, as everyone's going to be funneling into pit lane very, very soon. As yes, this is a new new rule in SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. We will have a caution at the halfway point in the races, with points scored to the top 10. So the 10 getting points are Sam Brochu, James Thurston, Payne Howell, Sean Rowe, Tyler Curley, Trevor Haley, Kenny Reel, Trevor Huff, James Belmar, and Riley Marabello. And the field catches the pace car down the backstretch, and they're probably very eager to get their pit stops done. As without the halftime caution, they probably would have made it about 6 or 7 more laps before jumping down to their next pit stop. As I believe the lucky dog is going to be Xander Short, number 38. So he will get his lap back, and he has a pretty much clean car. He was able to run in the front of the pack the entire green flag run when they got caught. So it seems like that will be his lifeline, as Sam Brochu leads the field into pit road. And we'll have to see who gets out ahead of him. I think drivers are taking tires under here, as Tyler Curley is the first one off pit lane. Tyler Curley jumps up a lot of spots. Kenny Reel does as well to take the top 3. So they decided to not take tires. Which, considering that we're running 70% fuel load, the fuel tanks are smaller, so it'll take longer to take tires and fuel. But I guess these drivers were considering like the restart conditions, and it would just be safer to take it, and you wouldn't lose that much time anyways. At least that's what I'm thinking. I might be completely wrong, and they might have just accidentally taken tires, but they only lost 1 or 2 spots at a plate track. It is not going to be the end of the world for them. It looks like not Adam Contreras, Andretti Robinson in the number 45 gets the wave around, so he'll be able to get to the tail end of the lead lap. But very impressed with the racing in the first half of this race. Very clean plate racing that we got. We got halfway without a caution. We had some incidents, sure, but very impressed with everyone here, considering how the duels went. And it looks like Tyler Curley and Sam Brochu will be choosing the outside line. Kenny Real is going to be choosing the inside line. So Tyler Curley, the control car, is going to be choosing when to go. And we probably won't get this race done with before 11 Eastern, which is fine because I still had to do interviews and everything. But yeah, we got. Let me change the ticker to laps to go. 47 laps to go. What happens if I change it to time real quick? Doesn't really do anything. Okay. So we will have 47 laps to go here. And your top 10 right now: Tyler Curley, Kenny Real, Sam Brochu, Trevor Haley, Brady Floyd, James Thurston, Sean Rowe, Riley Marabella, Gavin Austin, and Brady Wellman. But we still have 30 cars on the lead lap. So it is still practically anyone's game. As we're about to get away from halftime, pace car lights are off. That means it's going to be pulling into pit lane this time by pace car is in, and it's going to be Tyler Curley in the Geico restart zone to decide when the field goes. Green flag is out, and Tyler Curley got a very good restart over Kenny Real. But that inside line is a lot more coordinated than the outside line is. Able to get packed up a lot quicker. And it looks like they're just about even, but Brady Floyd lost a lot of speed entering the corner. I don't know if it was because he got side drafted by the 99 of Sean Rowe or what, but Trevor Haley is pushing the absolute heck out of the 11 of Kenny Real to make them side by side down the back straight while they wait for the cars behind them to get grouped together. But it's going to be Tyler Curley leading the charge on the outside line. He's going to be leading the first lap under green as long as Sam Brochu doesn't turn him or jump to the inside. And that's exactly the case. Tyler Curley will lead the first lap after halftime, and he's going to still be getting great pushes from Sam Brochu as the lights just came on the track, and that was a little bit of an awkward push from Brochu to the back of Curley, but it looks like they're able to keep it all together. But that's going to cause the outside line to check up, and now the inside line is starting to have a big head of steam. Brady Floyd, Riley Marabella, who pit started, is now on the inside line. He's the fourth car on the inside line, and Kenny Real trying to have something for Tyler Curley on the outside line, but can't have it done. James Thurston making a third lane happen. He's in the wall. I don't know if he was trying to make a third lane happen or if he was just trying to get air, but it's going to cause a big stack up as cars have to lift off the gas to not completely run him over. As we are 3 wide for second place, Kenny Real has taken the lead as he watches the field completely fan out behind him as he moves up all the way to the top. So Kenny Real leading the far outside line, the middle lane being led by Tyler Curley, and then Brady Floyd on the inside line for some 3 wide racing, but looks like that's mostly calmed down. It got really touchy there, and mostly everyone's calming down. I think it's Zachary Cato in the 6th trying to get up to the top in front of Martinez. And Kenny Real leads a lap here in the Daytona 250. Thought about going to the inside line, but did not have the momentum to necessitate that. But now they have a big push as Sean Rowe gives a heck of a shove to the back of the 77, but the outside line's going to have the run down the back straight if Sean Rowe isn't able to keep this up, and he definitely keeps it up. Tyler Curley now has a nose on the 11 of Real with help from Rowe and Brady Floyd. And the inside line is clear of the outside line outside line really disintegrated. Now Curly jumps to the high side with Sean Rowe in front of Kenny Reel. So Kenny Reel's parade comes to an end as it's now the Tyler Curley show, as Sean Rowe looking to get around him, as it's Trevor Haley. I'm sorry, I was about to say Trevor Brady for a second. Jumped to the bottom, and a big miscommunication on the outside causing a big stack up. And at the inside line is the advantageous one. Kenny Reel jumps to the high side, blocks Trevor Haley. And contact! Oh, in front of the field. Do they wreck? Oh, this might be the big one. Save it. Escamilla goes around. Curly's all over the place. And I think we might have avoided disaster. Because I don't think anyone really... I mean, Sean Rowe is slow, but I don't think anyone really got too much damage from that. A little bit of rear end damage on Sean Rowe, as he actually has a meatball flag, so Sean Rowe probably got the worst of that. Let's get a replay to see what happened to Sean Rowe real quick. So looking at Sean Rowe, looks like Curly tried to jump to the middle and got into Brady Floyd and Riley Marabello. And that brought them, of course, off screen down to the bottom. And then Curly and Floyd come back up and, yeah, just squeeze Sean Rowe into the wall. Nothing he could do. And then Sean Rowe gets hooked across the front end of Curly into Escamilla, and then Rowe is trying to save it. You can see he locks up the front brakes as Michael Deitch slams into the back of Sam Brochu. And Braden Hill not able to get out of the way of Sean Rowe. Sean Rowe was hard on the brakes, and I think that's what gave Rowe the meatball flag, was that hit from Braden Hill. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot Braden Hill can do in that. And, big hit from Garcia. Actually, that might have been what gave him the meatball flag, as Garcia came in with a big head of steam right into the right rear of Sean Rowe. And that is most likely going to end his day prematurely, as that's at least 8 minutes of damage to that car. But it looks like Kenny Reel is the first car out of pit lane. So he's going to be catching up to the pace car, and he's got Trevor Haley right behind him as we got 40 laps to go. And suddenly, twice the amount of cautions that we've had, that we had 10 laps ago. Excuse me for the weird noises. I'm downing some water right now, because speaking makes me both hungry and it makes my throat parched. Excuse me. But, yep, it is going to be your top 10 right now. It's going to be Kenny Reel, Trevor Haley, Riley Marabello, James Thurston, Brady Wellman, Trevor Huff, Gavin Austin, Jordan Herring, Brian Lorenzo, and Zachary Cato. Those are your top 10 drivers right now. As I believe the pace car lights will be going off this time by... Please excuse me for just 1 second as I have to grab something real quick. Okay, please excuse that slight interruption. I had to grab a blanket because it's cold, and I would much rather be comfortable broadcasting the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series comfortable than cold. But it looks like drivers have taken their choose cone, and it's going to be Kenny Real choosing the outside line, and James Thurston choosing the inside line. So those are going to be your line leaders. And Thurston, he's got some proven help right behind him. We saw how well the 51 and the 96 worked together in their respective duels, and they got Trevor Huff right behind him, and Jordan Herring, and James Bomar. That inside line is going to be a force to be reckoned with, because we saw how good Brady Wildman was good at pushing in the duel, and we saw how good Thurston was at leading, and we saw definitely how good Trevor Huff was pushing prior to the halftime caution. So definitely here for a treat, but it's gonna be Kenny Real choosing the outside line here, and he's gonna have people helping him in the form of, what the heck is happening with the one? Oh, Mama Seda.
Going green.
I think the one blinked out, and he couldn't see anyone, and kind of just drove through the pack. I don't really know what happened. If we're gonna get a really quick replay on that, because that kind of just snuck up on me. So we're looking at the one of Brian Lorenzo, and I think he blinked out and he just drove through everyone. I really don't understand what happened there, as I'm going to as I'll put the broadcast up just 1 second. Sorry about that. I was trying to not show the iRacing UI, but we have to go green sometime. Really weird turn of events right there. Brian Lorenzo was given a black flag for that.
Hold on, not going green.
As this race has suddenly taken a very awkward turn as we are waiting to go green. So we are going to be one lap further under caution. But drivers in the chat were not very happy with the one of Brian Lorenzo for that. As, I mean, I personally wouldn't if a car just drove through me for no reason under caution. But it looks like drivers are going to be, some are going to be taking the opportunity to go down pit lane. So, interesting all I can really say is that it's an interesting happening. As you see James Thurston go into pit lane. But interesting happenings here. In the Daytona 250. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to show the iRacing overlay. But it looks like now Jordan Herring is going to be leading the inside line after what happened on the outside line. Led some cars to dive into pit lane. But I really don't know what happened with the one. I have to get confirmation on what happened, because that was a really odd turn of events. But assuming nothing like that happens again, we should be going green next time by. So it's going to be Jordan Herring on the inside with a little bit of right front damage, and it's going to be Kenny Reel leading the outside, as that is Chase Crawl is diving to the back. As did Tyler Curley have to tow? I think Tyler Curley had to tow. So very interesting, interesting developments here. But either way, pace car about to come into pit lane. Hopefully nothing silly happens again. Pace car is in, and it's going up to Kenny Reel to decide when to go.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out, and it looks like the outside line's gonna have the advantage for at least the first two cars. Zachary Cato has a lot of damage in that number 6 and is not connected to the 51 at all. So the inside line is gonna have a big head of steam down the back straight, since Cato could not get connected to the back of the 51. And yeah, Jordan Herring is going to be leading the way on the bottom, as that is the 24 of Varus all the way in the back. As whoa, big wiggle from the 72, as that's Shockey Tarpley in the wall, and caution is out. Oh goodness gracious. Lorenzo Drake, I think I saw James Thurston involved. Oh goodness. This race has gone to hell in a handbasket. So let's get a replay on that, since it mostly happened off camera. So this starts with Shockey Tarpley pushing Frederick Seagraves, and Seagraves getting out of sorts, pushing up into Tarpley, and then Tarpley comes back down into Seagraves, and that gets him sent all sorts of sideways. Malachi Drake, not expecting the checkup from Braden Hill, turns him right in front of Ollie Reeves, and Riley Marabello gets a piece of it as well. And the 24 of Varus goes right into the back of Thurston. Lorenzo hits the 25. Thurston with a lot of damage. That's Connor Zola, as Gavin Austin spins the 84. The 25 is phasing through the 96. Cats and dogs living together here in Daytona. I mean, everything's happening after the halftime caution, as that's a lot of damage on the 25. Let's see about the 96 of James Thurston. It looks like that front end's pushed in a little bit, but and some side damage, but I don't think it should be anything too major. Did anyone get I don't think anyone got a meatball from that, luckily. But it has been crazy, as cars are coming down a pit lane to repair their damage. And Brady Floyd is currently leading with 34 laps to go. I think this is his first lap sled in his SRL career. And they will be in the Daytona 250 under caution for a pretty wacky turn of events. I mean, we had the halftime caution, and then we had a really short caution, and then we had Brian Lorenzo driving through the field under caution. Or I keep saying Lorenzo. It's probably like Lorenzo or something. I don't know. I'm just going to say Lorenzo. Brian Lorenzo driving through the field, I guess because he blinked out under caution. And then another big wreck from Shockey Tarpley giving an awkward push to Frederick Seagraves. But your top 10 right now is Brady Floyd, Sam Brochu, Peyton Howell, James Bomar, Kenny Reel, Brady Wildman, Austin Doran, Jordan Herring, Keelan Belsha, and Jason Brady. Seems like the name of the game in this second half has been to keep yourself out of trouble, because it seems like that is what's required to have a clean car past the halfway point, as Brady Floyd will choose the inside line and Sam Brochu and Peyton Howell will choose the outside line. 33 laps to go. We are in the last third of this race. And Brady Floyd has Brady Wildman right behind him and Jordan Herring. So that inside line is going to be tough to beat. But if there's two people who can do it, that have proved that they can do it, it's a 52 of Howell and the 98 of Sam Brochu on the outside line. We'll have to see who is behind Peyton Howell. Kenny Reel is a good pusher as well, and then you got Jason Brady and that is Bladen Edwards in the 26 right behind him as well. As you see, James Thurston looks like he got most of his damage repaired. He's storming up top in that black and yellow car, catching the outside line. The pace car lights are off, and the control car is going to be Brady Floyd. So he's going to be the one deciding when to go in the Geico restart zone. As Andretti Robinson has made his way into the top 10. Very strong performance from him. And Nicholas Baumann, who I believe pit started or got involved in an early accident, has made his way into 11th. So, so much turmoil pretty much here in the field. But Pace's car is in, and we're going to go green with 32 laps to go. Waiting for Brady Floyd to hit the loud pedal, and green flag is out. Brady Floyd gets a much better start than Sam Brochu. I think Sam Brochu wasn't expecting Brady Floyd to go then, and then now Brady Floyd jumps to the top. That's gonna leave Brady Wildman and Jordan Herring on the bottom as Sam Brochu pushes Floyd through the center of the corner. You can push in the center of the corner as long as it's square. But, Brochu is going to put the 53 in the sucker hole, and that is going to drop Brady Floyd back a lot. I don't think Brady Floyd's going to be too happy about that. But I don't think Sam Brochu was too happy about being held up by the 53 on that outside line when he had a hard-charging 52 right behind him. And now Brady Wellman looking to go up to the top lane. Can't get it done. Sam Brochu leading that outside line. He's going to have a big head of steam with help from the 52 of Peyton Howell as James Thurston looks to make a third lane possible. No takers with him just yet, as he's trying to get around the 6 of Zachary Cato, but Trevor Huff looking to make that outside work. But Sam Brochu is currently leading that outside line with help from Peyton Howell and Kenny Reel. Jason Brady in that number 97 working on that outside lane, as well as I believe that's the 16 of Marabello going all the way to the third lane. Nicholas Baumann in the number 8 looking to make something happen to lead the outside line. Can't get it done. And Brady and Reel trying to get some fresh air as Sam Brochu and Peyton Howell push each other to the limit. Marabello and Tyler Curley all the way on the third lane. Curley not getting the draft that he needed, as Brady Floyd is all the way in the back. Started in the front, and that's how quickly you can get shuffled to the back. But Brady Wildman in the number 51 leading that inside line just can't get the runs that he needs to get square with Sam Brochu and Peyton Howell. He's getting some good pushes from the 72 of Jordan Herring. And now Andretti Robinson is here to help. A little bit of a chain bump from the 45. But sometimes that helps. And now the 51 is on the inside of the 98 of Brochu. They are side by side coming to turns 3 and 4 as we are underneath 30 laps to go. Here comes James Thurston charging up hot on the outside line. Kenny Reel can't block all the way up top. James Thurston getting pushed by Riley Marabello and Trevor Huff. They are going to go to the lead real quick. Brochu not able to block all the way up top, and James Thurston has made his way from about 10th spot to the lead in one lap with help from Marabella. Now Marabella ducks to the bottom, and it's going to be Trevor Huff and James Thurston working together on that outside line as Preston Howell bunches up the field a little bit in the back. They are 3 wide with Kenny Reel getting split 3 with I'm losing my train of thought. So much is happening right now. But James Thurston getting pushed by Trevor Huff, and Riley Marabello only has Sam Brochu to help him right now, as he's waiting quite a long time for, I believe that's Brady Wildman in the 51 to catch to the back of Sam Brochu. But James Thurston and Trevor Huff are dominating the outside line, and the caution is down. We have a car upside down, or at least in the air. I believe that was Keelan Belsha, who went flying into the catch fence. So we will have to get a replay on that real quick. So hold on for just 1 second. Looking at Brady Floyd right now, and looks like he just got tapped in the quarter panel by Zachary Cato. Brought him right down across the nose of Andretti Robinson and just caused a big stack up. And Keelan Belsha checking up gets hooked by Tyler Curley and just gets projected up in the air. I mean, that car went probably about 10 feet up in the air. And landed on its wheels as Bomar with a great avoidance of Brady Floyd, but he's gonna spin it around because this track on the inside is so darn bumpy. But that was a big hit for the 18 of Keelan Belsha, and he's definitely not gonna be able to continue this race. So we are definitely in the late stages of this race. We'll be going back green, I believe, with 25 laps to go in the final quarter of this event. And everyone jumps down pit lane, including the leaders, to get I believe what would be their last fuel stop, unless we get green white checkers. But Austin Doran stays out, and I don't think Riley Garcia is going to be too happy with him for staying out if he chooses to not go in next time, because I think Riley Garcia was trying to get the wave around. As Brian Lorenzo has a black flag for some reason. I don't know for what. But it is currently Austin Doran leading with a couple of cars behind him, trying to get the wave around. But first car off of pit road is the number 96 of James Thurston. So we've had a ton of cautions in the late stages of this event, which is unfortunate considering that the first 50 laps all went green. I was hoping for another 50 lap race at the end, but that obviously did not happen, and my timer's calculation that this would be over by 11 is not ringing true, as we are close to reaching the 3-hour mark in the stream. But pace car lights should be going off here. So interesting strategy by Austin Doran to stay out, because he's most likely not going to have enough fuel for the end. So he might be banking on another quick caution about 5 to 10 laps from now to get fuel, to get his car filled up, and then wait for green white checkers is what I think his strategy is. Or I could be dead wrong. I've been dead wrong a lot when I've been broadcasting. But it is going to be Austin Doran leading the field on the inside line to the green. So your top 10 right now: Austin Doran, James Thurston, Payne Howell, Trevor Huff, Boyden Edwards, Nicholas Bauman, Kenny Reel, Riley Marabella, Sam Brochu, and Brady Wellman. As this has been a roller coaster of a race so far. Started off very calm and has just gone to chaos after the halfway break. But coming through turns 3 and 4, pace car is going to pull in soon, and we can hopefully have a 25 lap sprint to the finish. Wishful thinking. But pace car is about to pull in any second. It's going to be up to Austin Doran to lead the field to the restart with 24 laps to go. Green flag is out, and Doran gets a slightly better start than James Thurston, and the 52 of Payne Howell was glued to his back bumper. So 24 laps to go, and Austin Doran is up front. But the side draft coming in from James Thurston, and now Trevor Huff is all over the back end of James Thurston. Nicholas Bauman in the 8, running on the outside as well, as James Thurston gets the advantage with that run down the back stretch. And we'll have to see if anyone tries to make a third line happen with the 55 leading the inside line. But James Thurston not able to be clear of the 55 yet. It's a little bit of a miscommunication. Leaves a big miscommunication on the outside. And, oh, there's another wreck. Wildman gets destroyed. Oh, goodness. I saw right at the top of my screen Brady Wildman get absolutely destroyed by another black car. I couldn't tell who it was. But let's go to the replay. So we're looking at Brady Wellman right now, and at the edge of your screen, you'll see the James Thurston running a little bit high, and I think Trevor Huff had to check up a lot to not hit the back of Thurston, and that led to a big accordion effect on the outside line. Wildman goes up top, and yeah, just the difference in speed between him and Jordan Herring. They get together. That sends Wildman around into the wall right in front of Jonathan Baker, who that destroyed the suspension on Baker. And then I think Seagraves was expecting Wildman to go up the track and just stayed course and got into Riley Garcia as well, which is a shame because he was looking for a lucky dog, and he slams the outside wall. So multiple cars out of this race just due to one miscommunication on the outside line. As I don't know, if I was Austin Doran right now, I I would pit for fuel and try to save under cautions. Because he's got himself in the position that he wants to be in. Where he stayed out last caution, and your fuel window here is about 26 laps, 27 laps. And we went green with 24 to go. This would be the perfect opportunity for him to pit. And then he would have enough fuel to make it to the end and survive green, white checkers. But I don't know Austin Doran's fuel situation, so I cannot comment on that. But currently we have 26 cars still in this race out of 42. So we still have we have about 25 considering how Riley Garcia got destroyed in that last wreck. So about 25 cars still left in this race. As I believe we're about to hit the 3-hour mark on the stream, almost. 2 hours and 57 minutes going on strong right now. As we got word that Keelan Belsha is is out of the infield care center. So while we're under caution right now, we got Keelan Belsha out of the infield care center after a horrific crash with about 30 to go. How you feeling, Keelan?
Man, everything hurts. That was one of the hardest hits I've ever taken in my life. But we just gotta think about the safety of these race cars and everything that goes into making these race cars so safe. I mean, I got out of there without a scratch, just a little sore. So, it is what it is. Just really sucks for the Dirty South Racing guys. I mean, it's a small team out of Edgewater, Florida, out of a garage, and we've been trying to put together these race cars. Came right down the street to, put together a good race, and now we got a tore up chassis. So, I'm thankful everything's safe, but you just hate it for the guys.
That's right. You did take a pretty big hit, and we're all thankful for the safer barrier technology here at Daytona. Well, since we're about to go green, we're gonna have to send you back to the infield care center for one last little checkup by the sexy nurses there to make sure that you're in tip-top shape. So we'll hopefully see you next week.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for the broadcast and all you do, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of this race.
Yes, sir. Okay, that was Keelan Belsha telling us that he was doing well after his hard hit with about 30 laps to go. But we are going green this time by. And it's going to be Austin Doran leading the field once again to the green flag. He's going to have Peyton Howell on his outside. Green flag out in the air. Peyton Howell gets a better start, but Bladen Edwards not able to get caught up to the 52 in time. So 52 is just going to try to side draft as much as possible, while the 26 catches up in the 52 of Howell is going to get a very big run to the center of the corner. Bladen Edwards is all over the back end of the 52 as the 55 is being pushed by Thurston and Huff. And knowing those two drivers, they're going to pull out at any moment to try to get ahead of that 55 to get to the front. As they're thinking about it right now, a little bit of a squiggle from the 55. Great save by the 55. That's going to check up the inside a heck of a lot. And now multiple cars on the outside line are going to be clear of the inside line now that they have the run off of the corner. Great control by the 55, but that's going to spell disaster for the inside line as they lost a lot of momentum. And Peyton Howell is going to be leading the way with 19 laps to go here at Daytona. running that high line. Now the inside line is getting a very big run. Massive run from Austin Dorn being pushed by James Thurston. That's one. Oh, and he gets turned across the front end of Howell.
Yellow flag is
And
out. Stop
I
the
see
count.
Martinez sliding. Juan Escamilla goes around, but I don't think that included anyone else, as I don't really know what happened to the 55 to get him turned around like that. So let's get a replay real quick on that. So looking at Austin Dorn right now, he's getting pushed by James Thurston, and it looks like he comes. Oh yeah, he just came up the track. Wasn't expecting Peyton Howell to be that low, and just hooked across his nose. Unfortunate mistake for the 55, but he was the only car really involved besides Juan Escamilla who went around, but like no one destroyed their car over it. So I think some very easily repairable dents for that 55 and some other cars, as no one got a meatball flag. But it's gonna be James Thurston leading the way here, as he might be pulling down pit road to get a splash of fuel to compensate for the green-white checkers that may come his way. Looks like he won't, but he's definitely, I believe he's saving fuel. Let's see if we can get an onboard with the 96. And you can see how his RPM counter is hovering right around 3,000. So he's definitely clutching the car. Definitely clutching the car in fourth gear. Actually, no, he isn't even clutching the car at all. He's just driving around in fourth gear to save as much fuel as possible. But fuel saving is always a part of these plate racing events, as we're very slowly approaching the final 10th of this race, and God willing, we won't have to have a series of green-white checkers, hopefully. Not a whole lot to say since that caution came out so quickly. Your current top 10 is James Thurston, Bladen Edwards, Trevor Huff, Riley Marabello, Sam Brochu, Cole Denton, Nicholas Bauman, Kenny Reel, Brady Floyd, and Zachary Cato. Most cars are very torn up, but we still got some clean cars like the 96 of James Thurston. Looks like Edwards is doing fine. Same with Huff and Marabello. As we have broken the 3-hour stream mark. We started this at around at about 7. No, even my minus family. We started this around 7, around like 8, I believe, 8:05, to get qualifying in. Yeah, it's been 8. It was about 8:05. Yeah, 8:05, 8:06. To capture the end of practice and get qualifying in. So yes, we have broken the 3-hour mark, and we are still racing here, folks. So this is just as much of an endurance test that is for me as it is for these drivers here. Because trying to think of something to say through 3 hours of cautions, it's kind of hard to you kind of start running out of things in your playbook. But base car lights are off, coming down the Daytona backstretch. Hopefully this time we will get 15 beautiful green flag laps where no one wrecks and everyone races each other cleanly. Hopefully. But it's going to be James Thurston, the control car, on the bottom lane with help from Trevor Huff. And I'd say the lanes are about pretty equally matched right now. You got Bladen Edwards leading the outside lane. And you got, actually, that outside line is a little bit of a force with Sam Brochu and Riley Marabello right behind Bladen Edwards. But Bladen Edwards hasn't done a lot of leading like James Thurston has. So Thurston and Huff are a proven combo. But green flag is out, and Thurston and Huff get a great jump over Bladen Edwards and Riley Marabello. As what remains of the field tries to get up to speed. The inside line is clear of the outside line. Are they going to try to move to the high side? We've seen that James Thurston is a lot more comfortable up top. And it looks like they very slowly get to the top to cut off Bladen Edwards. As Kenny Reel makes a big move up top. Almost sweeps across the nose of Brady Floyd. But no harm, no foul. As people jockey for position down there. And Nicholas Bauman and Brady Floyd jump to the bottom. They're going to try to make something happen. As Trevor Huff pushing James Thurston as much as he can through the corners. Big wiggle out of Trevor Huff. He keeps it straight after he gets a shot from Bladen Edwards. 14 laps to go as James Thurston comes out of the tri-oval, dominating the outside line. And the inside line really nowhere to be seen until you get about 6 cars deep, with Nicholas Bauman being pushed by Brady Floyd in a pretty much a hodgepodge of cars on the inside line. Brady Floyd tries to get Eric, almost cleared himself on Cole Denton, and now Trevor Huff is all over the back end of James Thurston, with Bladen Edwards not too far behind. The top 6 are all on the outside line right about now, and that inside line just does not have any takers. As Brian Lorenzo on the outside line after getting a couple of black flags, he's up in the top 10 in that number 1 car. Is anyone going to try to take the bottom? Everyone's running up top. Bauman and Floyd are trying their best, but they just don't have any help. They need someone in front of them to come down and try and challenge. Maybe Marabello or Brochu or maybe Kenny Reel. But as, Brady Floyd goes around.
Caution. Yellow flag.
And we are
Slow
under
down.
caution once again. As that's Zach Cato spinning around. So let's get a replay real quick on what happened right there. As I apologize if the game audio was overshadowing my microphone. I forgot to turn it down after the interview with Keelan Belsha. Oh, I completely forgot to take off the SRL to put on SRL broadcasting for mute reversing. Anyways, so we're looking at Brady Floyd right now as he goes to the middle, and Bomar comes down a little bit to get some air, and they just collide. Floyd definitely came up way more than was necessary to be in the middle, and then that kind of just set off a chain reaction of people checking up. You see Preston Howell getting into Austin Doran, and that gets into Zachary Cato. As that right front is all locked up in the grass. And does Zachary Cato. He avoids the 97. Does he avoid the 45? No, right in front of the 45 of Andretti Robinson. That is an unfortunate event. Nothing the 6 or the 45 could do. But yeah, that is very unfortunate, as that would give Andretti Robinson a meatball. So I don't think he's too happy with that. As we will have a restart with 9 to go. Your top 10 as it stands right now is James Thurston, Trevor Huff, Bladen Edwards, Riley Marabello, Sam Brochu, Kenny Reel, Gavin Austin, Brian Lorenzo, Nicholas Martinez Jr., and Nicholas Bauman. In what's essentially a junkyard of cars right now. It was going so good until halfway. As at the halfway caution, I did say that if we went green to the end, we would be we would end the race before or around 11, and it is currently 11:17 right now. So we're about 20 minutes over the scheduled distance. So pace car lights should be coming off this time by, as Trevor, waiting for Trevor Huff to choose. Someone just blew up. I think it was in pit lane. I just heard the noise of the engine exploding. I just heard someone blow up. But it looks like Trevor Huff is going to be working with James Thurston probably until the last lap, when it's every man for himself. But once again, it is going to be Bladen Edwards on the bottom lane in what has been an endurance race so far. I mean, I don't really know how long this race has been going on for. Let me check. Give me 1 second to pull up the... So this race has been going on for 96 minutes so far. So half of this stream has essentially been the Daytona 250. Which honestly isn't bad, considering that this is 100 laps and the duels were both 60 laps each. That entire first half was so good, and then everyone got bunched up, and it was go time from then on, leading to a bunch of cautions. I lost count of what caution number we're on, but it is James Thurston leading the outside line. He's going to be the control car. He's going to have Trevor Huff. It seems like what's his preferred partner, his preferred drafting partner. He's going to have Trevor Huff right behind him. But don't discount that inside line of Bladen Edwards, Riley Marabello, and Sam Brochu, who are very, very good at pushing here at the plate tracks. But pace car is going to pull into pit lane, and it's going to be James Thurston as the control car. Once we can see the Geico restart box coming to 9 to go. Green flag is out, and it's about an equal start for both lines. A little bit of an advantage to the outside line, as Trevor Huff gives James Thurston that really good push. He's a lot closer to the 96 than the 16 is to the 26. And he might get clear of the inside line here if they do decide to jump to the bottom. But it looks like he's going to string Kenny Reel and Gavin Austin up along top as the inside line tries to get formed. It's a little bit broken up right now as they try to get something running down there. James Thurston dominating the top side right now, with Trevor Huff, his preferred partner, right behind him. I mean, these two cars have been inseparable since Duel 2, James Thurston and Trevor Huff. But Kenny Real is also someone to watch out for, as he can make big moves when it matters most. 8 laps to go. Inside line finally starting to have something going, as Blaine Edwards gets a little bit of an awkward push from Riley Marabella. They're trying to get some momentum down there. Nicholas Baumann side drafting with Sam Brochu. That cost him a lot of momentum as they fan out 3 wide. James Bomar running the middle all the way in the back. I believe that is Peyton Howell going from bottom to top, but that completely gutted the bottom line, as Bladen Edwards doesn't really have anyone near him until Riley Marabello, and that outside line is going to have a huge run over the inside line, going to 7 laps to go. And the question is, when will Trevor Huff make his move? Because he has to make it sometime if he wants to win this. He doesn't want to be the person that pushed James Thurston for 99% of the race and then finish second to James Thurston. But Bladen Edwards has a huge head of steam on the bottom, as that outside line gets pretty much a second wind. They're up to the inside of Huff, and they're up to the inside of Thurston, as Bladen Edwards is getting the ever-living heck pushed out of him by Marabello and Bomar. Edwards side drafting the top side just a little bit to try and slow him down just a bit to get a run on corner exit. Third line forming with Sam Brochu and Peyton Howell, but it is Trevor Huff and James Thurston still leading the way on the outside line. Sam Brochu on the third lane with 6 laps to go. When will Trevor Huff jump to the bottom? Because he has to make a move sometime. And Gavin Austin is probably begging for a hole on the bottom to open up, as we have 3 wide with, I believe that is Chase Crowell in the 39 in the middle, getting pushed by Nicholas Baumann, but nothing really coming up of that just yet. And that third line will dissolve into the top lane, as there's a lot of checkups up there. So that bottom lane might have something working for it real soon, as we go to 5 laps to go in the Daytona 250 for all of the marbles. Thurston still leading. Huff has people to his inside. Thurston can't get down. They're side drafting for the lead. Bladen Edwards to the advantage. Now it's Thurston after side drafting through the center of the corner. Thurston's going to have a big run down the back straight, but I doubt that he'll be able to clear Shockey Tarpley in the wall, as Thurston is inching ahead of Bladen Edwards right now, as Marabello is pushing Edwards with everything that he's got. The outside line is just so strong when you have the 55 or the 54 and the 96 working together. But Trevor Huff has to make a move sometime. 4 laps to go soon. Inside line going to make a second charge. Now that they're all packed up much closer. But James Thurston still has the luxury of coming down whenever he wants to. Not anymore, as Bladen Edwards is about to get to his quarter panel. So great pack race, and Nicholas Martinez Jr. is put in the sucker hole, as Sam Brochu and Peyton Howell go to his outside. So we are 3 wide further back in this lead pack. Cole Denton moves to the high side to try and get some of that momentum off the corner. And both Huff and Thurston are struggling to get free of that inside line, and we have a caution. Just as things were getting heated up, it cools down once more. So we will have to see what brought out that caution, and this will most likely be the first green flag checkered attempt. So please hold on for just 1 second while we get a replay. Okay, looking at Nicholas Martinez Jr. right now, getting pushed by Crawl, and it looks like he just got an awkward push, and Crawl was suddenly on his inside right in front of Xander Short. And Brady Wellman, trying to avoid it, didn't really have a whole lot of places to go, involving Lorenzo a little bit in there as well. Just unfortunate circumstances here. Very late into the race. I don't think anyone really wanted that. Lorenzo all sideways trying to save it, and he locks up the tires. I don't think he gets hit by anyone, so just an unfortunate series of events as we go to the first green, white, checkered. Because let me see how many green, white checkers we have. I don't know if we have 1 or 3. Let me check real quick. We have 3 green, white checkers here. So this is the first of 3. Hopefully this will be the only one. But my bet is that either James Thurston or Trevor Huff will end up winning this race. They've just been so good together. And whenever the two of them can just get hooked up, they absolutely just dominate a line. So really the goal is somehow separate Trevor Huff and James Thurston. Good morning to my good friend Ludenberg, who lives somewhere in Europe, as he just sent me a message and said, Guten Morgen. So, you can tell that I'm running out of things to talk about under caution, now that we've had so many cautions. But yes, three green-white checkers here for today's race. The first green-white checkered of the season. And, well, I can tell you what, after this race, I am going to sleep like a baby. But James Thurston chooses the outside line. Trevor Huff follows him. And this is interesting. Bladen Edwards and Riley Marabello both follow them up top. So we're going to have Kenny Reel and James Bomar battling for the lead. But I don't think that Reel is talking to Bomar the way that that Thurston is talking to Huff. As they've just been on another level of communication. But pace car lights are off, so we are going green next time by. And maybe I will suggest something to the league admins that maybe we don't need halfway cautions at plate races. Just a thought. But pace car is about to pull into pit lane for the first green-white checkered of the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series here at Daytona. So we're going longer than the advertised Daytona 250, but green-white checkered attempt number 1, green flag is out, and James Thurston able to almost get clear of Kenny Reel, but Trevor Huff is all over the back end of Thurston, and same with Edwards. They've been able to get packed together a lot easier than the bottom lane. But here comes the bottom lane with a whole head of steam as Thurston and Huff work together. Maybe they'll be able to clear the bottom lane. Will Huff try to take it from Kenny Reel? But Kenny Reel is getting to the inside of Huff with help from Bomar. So now Kenny Reel is leading the inside charge, but they just don't have anything for that outside line. What will Huff do? He's in the spot with the most power right now, because he could leave Thurston to dry if he wanted to. White flag is out for the Daytona 250. We will end this race green. Thurston leading in front of Trevor Huff. Bladen Edwards giving him a heck of a push. 3 cars riding the top lane. No one to challenge them on the inside line. Inside line just is not there. It's going to be someone making a bombastic move. Marabello jumps to the inside of Edwards. No help with him. Bomar doesn't help him out. It is just Thurston and Huff right now. Edwards gets side drafted back to Marabello. Huff looking to make a move on Thurston. And it's going to be Thurston and Huff up top. Bladen Edwards and Gavin Austin running to the bottom. Thurston turns himself in front of Edwards. It's going to be Bladen Edwards and Gavin Austin running to the line. Big hit for Marabello. And it's going to be Bladen Edwards winning at Daytona in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series Daytona 250. Holy cow. Before I read the results, let's get a replay of what happened coming to the line. So looking at James Thurston, Edwards and Gavin Austin jumped to the bottom, and it looks like Edwards made contact with Huff and just got into Thurston while he was still turning. I mean, you're not lifting on the last lap, and just unfortunate for James Thurston. He led so much of this race just to finish 12th. So very unfortunate for James Thurston, as we see Sam Brochu get turned by Brady Floyd right in front of Kenny Reel. And oh yeah, Thurston just making a bad situation worse for James Thurston, as he just wanted to finish across the line, pointed in the right direction, and it looks like he won't. He'll be sliding across it sideways. So now with that taken care of, let me get the interviews taken care of real quick. At Gavin, at Jason Brady. Okay, so now that that is taken care of, let me crank up the audio of the stream and and get our first interviewee in here, and that's going to be race winner Bladen Edwards.
I did.
After more than 250 miles, it is Bladen Edwards coming out on top. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, what was your game plan coming into this race? Because Daytona, anything can happen. So, did you have any sort of plan? Any people you were working with?
I mean, yeah, I had the SMS guys, the four wide guys. We had a whole like chat in the Discord. We were working together, trying to stay together. We were lined up for a while until some accidents took out like half of our guys, but then we were able to stick together. And then the path just cleared for me at the end. I got really lucky, so I don't know.
So, I have a question for you. So we had that very long green flag run for the first half of the race. Were you expecting the second half of the race to be just as clean, or were you expecting it to go the way that it did?
I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't expecting to be as caution filled as it was, but I wasn't like didn't expect it to go completely green. I wanted to kind of like be in the middle, have like 2 or 3 cautions, like at the beginning of the second stage, and then it go green. But it didn't happen that way. Ended up in the green white checkered. But either way, I still ended up in victory lane somehow.
So yeah, you ended up in victory lane. You're the big guy right now. You're the one who won. So before we let you go and celebrate your win, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank?
Yes, sir. I want to thank Joyland Captures. Look at the Facebook page, get some pictures. Icon Apparel. There's SMS, the guys at 4Y Motorsports to give me a chance. And that's really about it.
All right, we heard from the man himself. That is Bladen Edwards starting off his SRL Snowman Motorsports, or Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series season off with a bang with a win in the Daytona 250. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, and then let me get to Gavin Austin real quick. Gavin Austin coming home in second place. You got a copy?
I do.
So, Gavin, what was your game plan heading into tonight's event?
I finished second in my duel, so I started fifth in the race, and I was feeling confident. Was just going out there to lead laps, be up front, and the car was good. Everything felt good, and then I was the number one machine, had internet problems, drove through me, which gave me a ton of damage. I was just stuck after that, kind of trying to take my damage. I had engine damage. I was down on RPMs, and that was unrepairable. So I was, just down on power. The end of that race, and yeah, I was just trying to work up to the front. Managed to get there at the end, and once we were on the backstretch, I kind of split Bomar, and was able to get on his outside because he looks low. And then I just pushed the 26 out in front, clearing the 16, and we had a huge run in 3 and 4. He made the move, trying to fight for the lead. So that's pretty much just how that went at the end.
So, did you have any special people or teammates that you were working with, or were you just a lone wolf trying to get whoever you could get?
I was working with my teammate Chase Crawl. He was up there, and then he got involved in an incident. Tried to come back, but was just was unlucky. Nathan McLaughlin as well. He got wrecked out early. Was working with him. He got wrecked out before halfway, so didn't really have him that long, but he was working with us. And then Trevor Huff, early in the race, we were working together, kind of getting up to the front, so I want to thank him for working with me. But once again, I'd like to thank my team, RGR, and everyone who helped tonight.
So that's about half of what I was about to ask you my next question. So before we let you go and celebrate your second place finish in the Daytona 250, have any other people or sponsors do you want to thank?
Uh, I think CK Graphics. Normally want to run one of their paints, but couldn't get one done for tonight's race, so I'm running this blank black scheme that I made just quickly before the race. But you'll see me running CK Graphics schemes in the future. I want to thank HPTV, and Beam Stock Cars, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, you heard from the man himself. That's Gavin Austin capping off a very strong second place run here in the Daytona 250. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, and then our final interviewee is going to be the number 97 of Jason Brady. Let me see if I can pull him into the broadcast booth. Coming home third is the number 97 of Jason Brady. Do you got a copy?
I do.
So, Jason, what was your plan coming into tonight's event? Because you kind of hung out in the back for most of the race and then just appeared in third place at the end.
I know. I mean, it was just survive. I was lucky enough to avoid almost every single crash there was, except for one, and I got just small damage from it. But it was just survive, choose the low lane most of the time, so I can avoid all the wrecks. And on the final restart, I just had to go high, and it worked out.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's the best course of action, just winging it. So, did you have any special people or teammates you were working with, or were you just going all alone, just trying to find out whoever would help you the most?
No, it was just me by myself the whole entire time.
Well, that's fair enough. Sometimes that is the best way to go about this type of racing. So before we let you go and celebrate your third place finish, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank?
I guess technically I like to thank Logitech, as almost my whole setup is just complete Logitech. Um, I don't know. I had fun racing with everybody tonight.
Keeping it short and sweet. I like it. So that's Jason Brady coming home from a third place finish in the Daytona 250. We'll see you next race, buddy.
All right, thank you very much, man.
Okay, with that said and done, let me get this off the screen and let's go to our results real quick. Next. Come on. Okay, so in P1 is Blaine Edwards, followed by Gavin Austin and Jason Brady. First car outside of the podium is the 54 of Trevor Huff, followed by James Bomar and Riley Marabello. Malachi Drake finishes in 7th, and that number 90, and Kenny Reel finishes in 8th. Cole Denton, strong performance from him, finishes in 9th, and Brady Floyd, roller coaster race for him, finishing in the top 10. First car outside the top 10 is the number 8 of Nicholas Baumann, followed by Juan Escamilla and James Thurston, who dominated most of the race and came home with his heart in tatters. The number 98 of Sam Brochu in 14th, followed by Austin Doran in 15th, and Xander Short, who was lapped for most of the race, coming home in 16th. Chase Crowell in the number 39 in 17th. Then Michael Deitch in 18th, and Peyton Howell in 19th. Brian Lorenzo had a heck of a roller coaster of a race. Had internet issues, plowed through the field, whole 9 yards. Came home, last car in the top 20. First car outside of the top 20 is the 48 of Nicholas Martinez Jr., who's the last car on the lead lap. First car lap down was the 77 of Tyler Curley, 6 laps down, followed by Shockey Tarpley and Andretti Robinson. Then Brady Wellman and Zachary Cato. First car to DNF was the 72 of Jordan Herring in 27th. Then Riley Garcia in the number 40. Then Connor Zola actually finished the race 24 laps down. And then behind him was Frederick Seagraves Jr. in the number 59. Then Trevor Haley, Keelan Belshaw, Ollie Reeves, Braden Hill, Jonathan T. Baker, Sean Rowe, Andres Varas, Matthew Miles, Nathan McLaughlin, Joseph Lewis, Michael D. Kenner, and Noah Larson round out your finishers for the Daytona 250. So now that all of that is said and done, my name is Garrett Hess. You are watching on Fireball Talks NASCAR. Thank you for tuning in to an almost 4-hour long stream of the Daytona Duels and the Daytona 250 for the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. Big shout out to Andrew Schulte for his help with troubleshooting the ticker. and SKS Graphics for their ticker help as well. SKS Graphics, best name and tickers. If you want tickers for iRacing Broadcasting, SKS Graphics and Andrew Schulte is the place to go. My name is Garrett Hess, like I said about a minute ago, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.